Back at a sold-out Georgia Dome in Atlanta for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. The fans awaiting the arrival of their teams with anticipation. And the champions of the West in the SEC, who came up just a game short of being the conference champs, the LSU Tigers. They've won some big games in this building, and they've lost some big games in this building. They hope for the former tonight. And on the other side, with the very familiar smoke we've seen over the years from the ACC, the Miami Hurricanes. Chance for them tonight to defend their Peach Bowl crown that they won last year over Florida. Welcome my partner, Bob Greasy. As always, you know, you look at these two team seasons, and they've had remarkable years. But both of them, when they start the year, they're thinking national championship. For Miami, they came in with an untested quarterback this year. With the exception of the 2 games they lost, he played pretty darn well.
He did, and one thing was common in both of those losses, and that's quarterback sacks. But Kyle Wright has come a long way. He's a true, he's a redshirt sophomore, 3rd year in the program, and there's a lot of good football left ahead of him. The next 2 years for Kyle Wright are going to be upside big time for him.
Well, they're going to have to protect him, and that's going to go probably on big Eric Winston, who might be one of the best tackles in college
Eric
football.
Winston was voted the most valuable player on this Hurricane team. How many times does that happen? Yeah. An offensive lineman. All those guys on there are 4th and 5th year seniors and offensive linemen. They got to protect him tonight, and Kyle Wright can produce.
Well, the bad news is they're going against a defense that was #1 in the SEC in sacks, and a big part of the reason that they were that way, the 2 inside guys for LSU were as too good at defensive tackles as we've seen.
Williams and Roden could be the best tandem in the nation in college football. Those 2 guys right there will cause a lot of havoc inside.
Where are the points going to come from tonight? The question remains now for LSU. They lost their starting quarterback Jamarcus Russell to an injury in the SEC championship game. Here comes Matt Flynn, a sophomore. Never started a game before. He's got to go against the Canes defense.
Good news and bad news. The good news is you get to start. The bad news is you go against the #1 passing defense in the nation in the University of Miami. This kid's probably got butterflies the size of buzzards. But he's a good football player. He came out of Texas, one of the top players coming out of Texas. Again, he's a 3rd year sophomore, so he's been around. He knows the program. I think he's going to do very well. He can't wait to get out there and do this thing.
Usually big games and big bowl game events like this come down to somebody doing something special. There's 2 very special players on these teams tonight. With more on that, 3rd member of our crew, as always, on the field, Lynn Swan. Swanee.
Thank you very much, Brad. In bowl games, usually there's a player I refer to as a wild card player, and you find him on special teams. So for Miami, it's #4, Devin Hester. He's returned 6 punts for touchdowns. He's played some at wide receiver, but he's only made 3 catches. We expect to see him more all over the offensive unit, kind of in a junior Reggie Bush role. But if you look at LSU, go up 1 digit to #5, and you'll find Skylar Green. He's returned 4 punts for touchdowns. He has 32 catches on the season and 11 rushes. And I believe, should something happen to the starting quarterback, Matt Flynn, you're going to see Skylar Green take some direct snaps. Now, folks, if you've celebrated too much during the holidays, any one of these football teams, too much Christmas, too much Hanukkah, too much Kwanzaa, and you're not ready for this ball game, one of those 2 guys might surprise you and come up with the fireworks and bring in the new year tonight.
Well, one thing we know, there hasn't been too much football. And tonight's game brought to you in high definition by Phillips. Boy, the feeling in this building, it's always fun. We've been here before. And Larry Coker has as well. They won last year over Florida 27-10 to take the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl title of '04. Now they have a chance to win back-to-back crowns. And what a job Les Miles has done amid all the turmoil of Hurricane Katrina, and a brand new job coming from Oklahoma State. And in his first year as head coach at LSU, he's got 10 victories. Miami won the toss, and they deferred. So Miami will be kicking off. Brian Monroe, the punter, will tee it up. And the guy that Swanee talked about, one of a duo back there, Xavier Carter and Skylar Green. And there he is, #5. Keep that number in mind all night long. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta. And as the flash bulbs go off, we're underway. Kick's going to go out of bounds at the 1-yard line, and that'll give LSU great field position to start with. And the starting lineups, that whole left side of the line, either first or second team All-SEC. Whitworth, Arnold, Niswanger, Livings, and Johnson across the front wall. David Jones, the tight end. Bo's the big play receiver along with Craig Davis. And in the backfield, Joseph Adai, who's been banged up, but he's as healthy as he's been in a long time. Steltz, the fullback. And Matt Flynn, who Bob just talked about, will line him up at the 35-yard line. And as Bob said, how big must those butterflies feel right now? Maybe one snap will get it out of his system. First down, LSU. And it's a toss to Adai, going left side, got a big gain. Almost 10 before he's run out of bounds by Kenny Phillips. Miami defensively a good unit, as always. And here's how they stack up. Up front, Atkins and Harris. Carroll, Calais Campbell making his first start at left defensive end at 6'8". The linebackers, McIntosh, their leading tackler, Davis and Beeson. And in the secondary, some experience and some youth. Jennings, Phillips, Merriweather, and Maxey, who's been really coming on this year in that secondary for Miami. Adai will motion out of the LSU backfield. Flynn landed his first pass coming up right here. It's going to be a quick strike, and it's a completion and a first down inside the 40. And he couldn't have had a better way to start it, partner, right there.
Exactly right. A good start, good running play on the first play, and then motion out, spread the field, and a nice slant completion. First pass.
So all the way down to the 36-yard line already for LSU.
Three-step drop and fire. A little bit behind the receiver, but still a nice completion, first throw of the game.
Craig Buster Davis with the first down catch. A guy into the middle of the Hurricanes defense, and he got decent yardage, 3 or 4. As the opening drive, the game plan for LSU, Bob.
Well, the game plan is establish the run, take the pressure off of the quarterback making his first start, and then force Matt Flynn to win it. That's no secret. You know, the Hurricanes over the years have been known to be rough on quarterbacks, let alone first-time starters. So we'll see what happens here with Matt.
37 career pass attempts. His one throw tonight, a completion for 18 yards. Second down and 7 here. The fullback going to the left off play action on the bootleg. Flynn's going to get rid of this one. Incomplete. Being chased by Calais Campbell, the redshirt freshman I talked about, the tallest member of the Miami team, 6'8", 253.
This shows nice composure by Matt Flynn. This is a naked bootleg. First thing you got to do is find that defensive end. If he's there, you got to throw it away, and he was there. No receiver was in the area. He got it back to the line of scrimmage outside the pocket. LSU
now will go with the extra wide receiver. And we'll see Flynn in the shotgun for the first time. Tigers on the year, 38% of their third down conversions. Miami might bring the blitz off the corner, and here they come. Flynn has it batted in the air, incomplete. Might have been Glenn Cook as the pressure came from Miami. And after giving up a couple of big chunks of yardage, they stop LSU and force a fourth down.
Now, Randy Shannon, the defensive coordinator, I think he found something in the film study of watching LSU's offense. Had a man free, didn't get to the quarterback, but had his hands up and knocked it down.
And now they're going to try a long field goal. Chris Jackson.
Flynn ran off the field. He's the holder, has been all year.
You forgot about
now
that
he
job.
starts a quarterback. He forgot he was the holder.
Jackson will try a 50-yarder. The kick on the way, and he's going to push it to the left. And now the Canes will have pretty good field position with the missed field goal. Well, LSU, good opening drive, though.
Not a bad drive to start the game if you're playing with a new quarterback, first time start. Take a look at the hold, Matt Flynn.
A little bit high.
High snap. Looked like Matt had all of his fingers on the ball. I don't know if he does that normally or not, but if I were a kicker, I don't think I'd want my holder with all of his hands and fingers on the ball.
Maybe he forgot he wasn't supposed to be throwing a spiral there. First down Miami now. LSU shifting on their defensive front, and they're going to bring some pressure on Wright, and Wright got it away, and it's Quadrin Hill, the fullback. First down Miami. The captain of the offense, Quadrin Hill, a pickup of 12. Let's check the Miami offense for you. Here's the guys up front. We talked about Eric Winston, one of the best in the business. McMeans, Walschlager, Tella, and Butler across the front wall. The tight end and receivers, Greg Olson, one of the better tight ends around. Leggett getting a start with Moore out. Sonoris Moss is their big play man. Charlie Jones took over from Tyrone Moss. Kyle Wright at the controls, and we just saw Quadrin Hill. And now a toss to Devin Hester, who Swanee talked about, coming out of the tailback spot. So there's the wild card. He might not have been in our lineups, but as Swanee told you, we'll see him all over the field tonight. And on his first play, he goes for 9 yards. Defensively for LSU, the strength of this group is the two guys in the middle, Roten and Williams, Pittman and Oliver on the outside. Linebacking core, Highsmith and Vaughn and Hollis. And in the secondary, they line up like this. Chevis Jackson and Ronnie Prude on the corners. LaRon Landry and Jesse Daniels are the safeties. Hester stays in there, tailback. Here's the toss to him. Looking for a blocker. And down he goes for a loss of 4. Nice job defensively by LSU. It's no surprise to LSU that they're going to see Devin Hester all over the field tonight. It has not been a secret kept by anybody because Larry Coker has said he's going to be our offensive guy now. We're going to showcase him in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and then we'll showcase him next year maybe.
What did he say? We got a present, a Christmas present under the tree.
Yeah.
Devin Hester comes over to the offense. 3 plays. Devin Hester's been in on 2 of them.
And you saw Bo Pelini, the defensive coordinator of the Tigers, pacing the LSU sideline. 3rd down and 5 for the Canes on their opening drive. And they were only 34% this year on 3rd down conversions. Kyle Wright in the gun. Blitz coming over the middle to Hester, and he's breaking the tackle. He's got a first down and a bunch more. Devin Hester all the way down to the 26-yard line. Pick up of 24 yards. Well, if they're going to do this all night, we're going to have some fun.
The key here is breaking the tackle of Daniels right there, the strong safety. Hester's 185 pounds, and not only is he quick, but he's a tough young man. Took a tough shot there on the sideline.
Got a first down, though, down to the 26-yard line. So both teams with good opening drives. LSU stalled. We'll see if Miami's does, or if they can put points on the board. Now it's Hester, direct snap, fake the throw. Devin got the corner anyway, and he's going to get another first down, and a flag flies in at the end of the play. He picked up 11, and he's probably going to get a bunch more, half the distance to the goal.
There's a direct snap to Hester. The quarterback right was lined up outside. A holding call on the Hurricanes.
So it's going to go against the Canes, not LSU. And Hester trotting to the sideline.
Holding on the offense, number 8. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Darnell Jenkins over there, the wide receiver, trying to get a block for Hester. John Bible, the referee, made the call. This is a Big 12 officiating crew here in Atlanta tonight. So that slows things down. Goes back basically to where Hester was put down the first time at the 26.
Right here on the left side. 8 on 8. I couldn't see it too well from that shot.
Spot foul, comes back to the 26. First down. Looking to get the ground game going, and Charlie Jones loses 2. Ronnie Prude, the senior out of Shreveport, Louisiana, made the stop. LSU's defense ranked 5th in the country, 7th in the country against the rush. They only give up about 95 yards a game, so the sledding can get pretty tough if you're trying to run against this group.
Oh, yes. Bo Pelini, the defensive coordinator, has done a good job. Changed all of the terminology. Took over for the Nick Saban crew that left and went to the Miami Dolphins. Pelini came in and changed a lot of the terminology, which is tough on a defense.
LSU looked like they jumped into the neutral zone. They're going to get the sack, but I thought they were offside. Allie Highsmith, one of the guys that coming on the blitz.
Defense was offside. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
So we seesaw back and forth with penalties on this opening Hurricane offensive drive. Let's talk about the game plan for Miami, Bob.
But for the Hurricanes, just protect Kyle Wright. As we mentioned, the 2 losses, they've had a lot of sacks in those 2 losses. Defensively, LSU win the battle at the line of scrimmage. That defensive line, those 3 defensive players, Williams, Roten, and Oliver, must dominate that Hurricanes offensive line for LSU to stop this offense.
Second down and 7. Wright drops to throw to the middle, completes it. So Ortega down to the 11-yard line. Ortega, the number 2 tight end, former quarterback, at least recruited to Miami that way. And Kyle Wright finds him.
Buck Ortega, 5th-year senior, coming from the left side. Going to go on the outside and then come right back in. 2 guys clear it out, and Buck just takes a little swing to the outside and comes back.
It's a 1st and 10 for Miami. They'd almost have to be in the LSU end zone. They could get a first down at about the 1.
Nice job of the Canes chipping away to pick up this first down. There they come.
With time, throws complete down around the 5-yard line to Sonora's Moss. Ronnie Prude stayed right there with him. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Opening 5 minutes and a lot of fireworks already.
I'm impressed with Kyle Wright. He's been under pressure a couple of times, and he has done well completing the ball, getting rid of it. Has not made any mistakes. Kept this when they were the holding penalty, moved them back 1st and 20 or whatever it was. Still got down and picked up the first down.
Driven them down to the red zone where they were 5th in the ACC. 2nd down and 4. Ortega, the motion man. Charlie Jones puts the brakes on, cuts inside the 5. Might have gotten close to the 3. Highsmith made the stop, and now the biggest 3rd down of the opening minutes of the ball game upon us. And when you go on 3rd down in this kind of position, it's probably going to be an attempt at a touchdown because the 1-yard line is the first down marker.
Well, yeah, you don't. When you're this close, I mean, you're going for the touchdown.
Yep.
And if you run and play or throw a ball and you don't get the touchdown, then you hope you get the first down. But you're not trying for a first down here.
Always think about Big Greg Olson, the tight end. He's lined up on the left side. 3rd down and 3, 10th play of the drive. LSU loading up their front. Here they come. Right to the end zone. Incomplete. No flag.
I like the defense. I like the pressure. There was no way that Miami offensively could block all those guys. Did not give Kyle Wright time to wait for his receivers to get open.
Looked like there was 15 Tigers on the field.
They just got up and showed the blitz.
They didn't disguise it at all. They just brought it. And Kyle Wright obviously feeling it right here. And that's LaRon Landry comes flying in there.
The 2 safeties right up the middle on either side of the center.
John Petty, 14 of 19 on the year, gives us the first points of this 2005 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. The field goal up and good. 21-yard field goal gives the Canes an early 3-0 lead here in the first quarter. There's the offensive line of the Canes. They held up pretty well, although that big blitz down there on 3rd down forced the Petty field goal of 21 yards.
That was Art Keel with the offensive lineman. First drive of the game, just saying, all right, guys, this is what they're doing. This is make these adjustments. Good, smart offensive line coach.
Skylar Green waiting as you look behind Brian Monroe to kick the last one. The first one went out of bounds at the 1, setting up LSU at the 35. This time he's got it straight away. Green's 5 yards deep. He'll take a knee. So we'll see LSU get back on offense. And Coach Miles talking to his first-time starting quarterback. Matt Flynn's looked pretty good early. He'll have another chance with the Tigers offense when we come back to Atlanta in a moment. Nesler, Bob Greasy, and Lynn Swan and our ESPN crew back in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome. LSU's second offensive series. They moved it right down the field the first time before stalling and missing a 50-yard field goal. Lynn gives it off to a dive, and the dive backs his way for about 4 yards. Swanee, we talked with Jimbo Fisher about trying to get a comfort zone for Matt Flynn.
And that's right. And what he does, and he does this for every game, is he scripts his plays. About 15 of those plays, coincidentally, that happens to be Matt Flynn's number. And what that does for a young quarterback with no experience, it creates a comfort zone. He knows the game plan, the sequence of plays he has to put in, so he can get more comfortable. Because until you start a football game, especially a big bowl game, you have no idea about the speed of play.
About the only thing that wasn't in the script was having that last pass of his batted down on the opening drive, because the guy's been running it pretty well, which helps the cause. He goes for 3 more. Still, it's going to bring up a third down situation in about 3. Romeo Davis was the first guy there. Got help from Phillips and Beeson.
But what you want to do against the defense that is as quick and as fast as the Hurricanes is not run left and right and run wide, because they'll eat that up. But run right at them and then play action and throw the ball down the field on the corners, or misdirection. Get everybody started one way and then come back the other way.
Now Matt Flynn will drop into the shotgun. So barring an inside draw to a die or a quarterback draw, he's going to put it up again. 3rd down and 3. Buster Davis comes in tight on the right side. 3 wide out set. Now Davis will move on 3rd down. Flynn has it batted in the air again. I don't know if it was the same play, but it sure looked pretty familiar.
Very similar, the slant route, and Randy Shannon doing a nice job of telling his defensive lineman, if you don't get there, it's okay, get your hands up.
Baraka Atkins did.
Right of your screen. Oh, he did a nice job. He was trying to get cut. One of the offensive linemen tried to cut him. He fought that off and then got his hands back up.
So it's time to punt. Jackson, who missed the field goal, also the punter. He does both duties. Devin Hester is back deep for Miami.
Ball's gone.
Nice kick, but returnable. Fair catch called for, and Devin thought about taking off and then realized, wait a minute, I just waved my arm up there.
I think he moved a little bit.
Yep. 41-yard punt, no return. You can kick your New Year's Eve off with ESPN and what is sure to be a high-scoring bowl. Paul Pettiger leads Fresno State's offense against the Tulsa Golden Hurricane, meeting at 2 teams averaging over 30 a game. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN, Saturday at 1 Eastern. And that's available on ESPN HD. Spectacular and sparkling high definition, which is what we're in tonight. 7:04 to go first quarter. Miami's got it back with a field goal lead. Kyle Wright's 4 out of 5 on that opening drive and used 4 different receivers. This time he's got an eye backfield in there with Charlie Jones behind Quattrin Hill. Play action. Wright with all day. Going long. Got a man out there and Leggett, and he almost dragged it in. Pretty good coverage at the last moment by LaRon Landry, who got over there.
Leggett with good speed. And Wright saw the double coverage. He ran by the corner. This is like what they call a double zone 2 deep. The corner knocks him off. Now the safety comes over and has to make the play, and does.
And LaRon Landry, the little brother of Dewan Landry, who plays here in town for Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech took it on the chin in the Emerald Bowl yesterday, and I know the Landry family is hoping LaRon has better luck than his big brother did last night. He's a heck of a player, though. And a scholar athlete, as a matter of fact.
And he was named on the All-American team, which was a high compliment to his abilities.
2nd down and 10. And here's Devin Hester again, trying to take it wide. Nice job to stretch it out by Chase Pittman, the junior defensive end. Devin Hester, we talked about the spots that he would touch the ball, and he's had several, including from the tailback spot. He's already caught a pass that was a first down and a big gainer. And then as a direct snap, he had a nice gain here, but the holding call negated the 11-yard run on that one. Mr. Everything. 3rd down and 10. See what he does this time.
There he is at the tailback position.
Now he's going to go in motion and empty that backfield, with the exception of Kyle Wright in the gun. Wright wants to throw a slip screen to him and almost had it intercepted. And here comes a flag from about 30 yards downfield. Tell you what, that official's got as good an arm as either one of these quarterbacks.
There's no flag on the play.
He was just testing his arm.
Yeah.
behind the line of scrimmage.
So there is no penalty. And Miami will have to give it up.
Well, they're going to be all over Hester. The defensive back on that tight side, Zenon, came up and made the play.
So LSU's defense does its job. And on fourth down, they finally shift into a punting formation. Ryan Monroe.
That's what happens when you have a lot of time to prepare for a game.
You got that right.
You line up in strange formations.
Green made the first man miss. Looking for a wall. Will it develop? Oh, there's a flag down. Now the wall is there, but the wall is going to have an illegal block on it. Boy, he fought a lot for a 20-yard return, but it's coming back. He doesn't know that yet. You got a name like Schuyler, you got to be good.
Oh, sure.
So the penalty was somewhere around the 31-yard line.
A lot of these guys were just younger.
Illegal block in the back on the return team, number 19. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Timeout.
Zenon with the illegal block. And a timeout with 5:50 remaining in the first quarter. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta. Oh, they're all having fun. I know a couple of those.
Hi there, I'm Captain Jeff Smith out of New Orleans, Louisiana, stationed here in Baghdad, Iraq with the 86th Combat Support Hospital. Just like to say hello to all my family and friends and all the Tiger fans back home. Go Tigers!
All right, Captain Smith, and we welcome all of you that might be watching on Armed Forces Network around the world, and thanks for being where you are so we can be where we are. Welcome back to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. 5:50 to go, first quarter. Draw play, a die. Got a nice lead block. Broken tackle, got out near the 28-yard line. John Beeson, the linebacker, made the stop, but a die got 6.
Hurricanes will rotate in 7 or 8, maybe 9 defensive linemen, keeping him fresh.
Adai came in with 781 yards rushing. His biggest game was against Florida. He had 32 carries, which was a career high for 156 yards. Then he started getting banged up. And they started rotating guys in that backfield, including Justin Vincent. But he is, as I said earlier, as healthy as he's been in quite a while, and he looks like it. 2nd and 4. Here he is again. Nice change of direction in the backfield, and he's very close to a first down. Looks to be a couple of feet shy. It'll bring up a 3rd and short. Deason and Davis, the linebackers for the Canes, make the stop as we approach 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
LSU wants to get the running game going so they can get the play action. Randy Shannon, the defensive coordinator, says LSU is constantly looking for the big play. And most of the time it's coming off of play action.
3rd down and a couple of feet here. They bring in an extra tight end, Blanchard, who's basically, well, he's in motion now, but he looks like a tackle. Now he sets up on that left side. They might be going that way. They do. First down and more. Good run by Adai. Merriweather, the safety, stopped him, but he got 7.
It seems like LSU always has good running backs. Take a look at the right side. Adai sees the left side doing a nice job. That's Whitworth, the left tackle, gets a lot of movement. Whitworth was voted to the All-American team at the end of the season. But getting back to the running backs, Adai, Broussard was not here. He's injured.
Right.
Remember Vincent a couple years ago?
There's Justin Vincent, the MVP of not only the SEC championship, but the BCS national title game 2 years back. Play action. They might want the big play Bob was talking about here. And now Matt Flynn says, wait a minute, got a lot of field turf. All the way down to the 40-yard line. In fact, to the 39. That's one thing that Matt probably does better. And Jamarcus, I know if you're at home watching, you're saying Nessler's crazy. He's a better runner probably than Jamarcus is.
Well, he is. Jamarcus doesn't like to run. He's a pocket passer, strong arm. But Matt Flynn runs like a 4.6. Take a look. This is a play action. He's going to look down the field on both sides, and both receivers are covered. You see the receiver at the top right of your screen. He's got good speed, 4.6, and good size. You know, that's a good run. I mean, that will help him get into this ball game.
You could see there Beeson, the linebacker, giving chase, and he wasn't closing any ground. LSU 4 straight runs now. The first down back in Cane territory at the 39. Back to a dive. And the captain of the offense, the senior out of Houston, Texas, gets about 3 more. LSU opened their season with a transplanted road game at Arizona State because of Hurricane Katrina. 2 games postponed because of the hurricanes. They were the SEC West champions. They lost the heartbreaker to Tennessee, and then they ran the table in a lot of close games until they got to the Georgia Bulldogs when Russell went down back on the first weekend of December in this stadium.
They won 2 of those overtime games and lost 1.
Here's Skylar Green at quarterback now, getting ready for a direct snap a la Devin Hester. And he put a nice move on, 2 in the backfield. Inside the 30, 25. What a run. Down to the 20-yard line. Wow, that was 16 yards of fun.
The difference is Skylar Green is a senior playing his last game in college. Little hoop right up the middle.
That was a little hoop, I guess.
Just jumped to the outside. Skylar Green has some abilities running the ball outside. He can catch it. Everybody says he's dangerous with the ball under his arm. That means you got to get it to him.
Justin Vincent's checked in for him to give him a breather. Vincent at the tailback spot on first down. And Vincent with fresh legs. Nice run by him. He got almost 5. As LSU in the red zone this year, they were number 1 in the Southeastern Conference at 92%. 35 of 38 in the opponent's red zone, including 28 touchdowns. Well, they're down with their deepest penetration now into Kane territory. Down at the 15-yard line. They have been doing it on the ground. Bob said they had to establish the run so they could protect their first-time starting quarterback, and they've done it brilliantly on this drive. 7 plays on the drive, all of them on the ground. Vincent again, inside the 15.
This Hurricane defense is not a defense where you're just going to take it and run the ball down the field on. 2 of those running plays that we talked about, one was a scramble by Matt Flynn for like 25 yards, and the other was Skylar Green doing his thing. So those aren't normal plays out of the normal running situation for LSU.
Now what do? It's 3rd down and a big one here as they try to either tie things or take the lead. 3rd down and a long 4.
Well, Matt Flynn, just whatever you do, just don't turn it over. Just be careful with the football. Get 3 points at least.
Fullback on the move and whistles, and the penalty flag's down. I thought there was a second left on the clock.
Before the snap, false start, 71 offense.
So it was movement on the line. Living's the guard. And that changes the complexion of this play. Now it's going to be a 3rd down and a long situation. Almost 10. They back it up just inside the 20-yard line.
Bob and Brad, we talk about a lot of things that are different for a first-time starter. One of the things we don't talk about is the cadence when the clock is running down, how he changes that cadence. He's trying to speed up, and this line is not used to him. The rhythm gets off, and you get people jumping offside.
Yeah, it's a noisy place in here. Davis, Bowe, and Green all split to the right side. 3rd down and 9. Flynn flushed, throws, incomplete. Closest guy was Bowe. Again, the pressure was coming from Miami's defensive front. Orion Harris, their senior captain out of Newark, Delaware, put the heat on, along with Kareem Brown and company.
Yeah, trying to convert a 3rd and 10 is a lot different than trying to convert 3rd and 5. That penalty was huge against the Tigers.
So now Chris Jackson, who missed from 50, 7 out of 16 on the year. And he'll try a 37-yard field goal here to try to tie it up. Again, Matt Flynn, the quarterback, is the holder. Chris Jackson's kick on the way, and this one's right down Peachtree. 3-3. 58 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The LSU Tigers with a good drive, and they've drawn even with the Miami Hurricanes. If Jim Finley would have held the ball like for you at Purdue like this, he'd have lost fingers a long time ago.
Well, what we're talking about, watch his fingers. Look at his fingers. He's got his whole hand on the ball. We didn't know if that was the way he always did or not, but take a look at this.
This is the successful one now.
This is the second field goal.
He's still got a lot of fingers down there.
I'll tell you what, but all the fingers are on the backs. All the fingers are on the back side. None of them are on the front side of the ball. So when you kick it, there is nothing on the front side that's stopping the ball from taking off.
And there's nothing on the passing hand either, which is always good news.
It's his left hand that he holds it with.
Jackson to kick. Hester and Jenkins are deep. Line drive. Taken at the 4 by Devin Hester. Don't give him any room. Flags are down. Hester's going down the sideline, but this one will come back as well.
Well, we've got two of the most penalized teams in their conferences here tonight. So there's a lot of flags, a lot of laundry coming out.
An LSU player down is Daniel Francis on the special teams, down in front of the Miami bench at about the 40-yard line. Again, John Bible, who we've seen a lot around the Big 12 and his Big 12 crew, here for this Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl tonight.
There's a flag.
There were multiple flags.
Yeah, I think there's offside on LSU on the kickoff.
The holding on the return. Les Miles and Larry Coker, two guys that came through the state of Oklahoma to get to where they are now as the respective head coaches at Miami and LSU.
They were both offensive coordinators at Oklahoma State. Les ended up being a head coach there.
Yep. We kid Larry about being such a great offensive coordinator at Oklahoma State, and he always says, didn't hurt that I had Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas.
There were multiple fouls on the play. The kicking team was offside. During the kick, the receivers committed holding. After the receivers gained possession, they also committed holding.
Wow.
Therefore, the penalties offset will re-kick.
Well, as I said, two of the most penalized teams in the nation right here tonight.
Don't forget the Bowl Championship Series gets underway Monday. Ohio State, Notre Dame get together in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl at 4:30 Eastern. Then we'll be right here for West Virginia and the SEC champion Georgia Bulldogs, 8 o'clock Eastern. And on Tuesday, January 3rd, it's Penn State and Florida State getting together in the FedEx Orange Bowl. And we cap it off with the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. On Wednesday, January 4th, the #1 and #2 teams in the country, the one everybody's been waiting to see. It's all coming up on ABC Sports starting next Monday. I have a hard time keeping my days straight.
Yeah, I know that. You know, this is the first time in the 8 years of the BCS that the #1 and #2 teams at the beginning of the year
from the get-go
ended up playing in the BCS championship game, Texas and USC.
So Daniel Francis goes to the sideline, and hopefully he's all right. We'll re-kick. Chris Jackson Jr. out of River Ridge, Louisiana, will tee it up. Busy guy is both the punter and place kicker. Fans enjoying themselves in Atlanta. Boy, they shut down Peachtree Street today for a parade, and I didn't know they were going to do that. Kind of hard to get around for the folks that were out there driving in circles trying to get in the middle of town. Didn't work.
You locals shouldn't have had any problems.
All the side streets were cut off, too. I thought I had some shortcuts. I couldn't find them.
Yeah, you were late for the meeting.
Yeah, I know I was.
We almost sent out a posse.
Yeah. Devin Hester back there. Hopes he can get his hands on another one. And he's getting the fans down there in the end zone all riled up. There are a lot of Cane fans in orange and green down there. This one takes a couple of bounces before Hester fields it at the 6. Nowhere to hide this time, it doesn't appear. He's going to get swarmed under at about the 12-yard line. Miami's season, I mentioned, started on Labor Day night against their arch nemesis from Tallahassee. They lost to Florida State in a close one, never got a kick away that maybe could have won the ball game. They did finish second in the Coastal Division. And their second consecutive Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. They won 8 straight games after losing to Florida State. Then they ran into Georgia Tech. I mean, they had the big game that everybody thought they can't win, and they won that. And then Georgia Tech upset them 14-10. Then they capped their season with a win over Virginia, and they come in here 9-2. Not very good field position this time for the Canes, but that might improve right here in a hurry. Charlie Jones. Jones across the 40 all the way to midfield and then some. Boy, that hole opened up on the left side, and Charlie Jones ripped it for 42 yards.
This against one of the best running defenses in the country. The tight end's going to come in motion over here, but the running back's going to cut back right in the hole. You would think this ball is supposed to go to the left side, but he does a nice job of seeing the hole open. Sometimes when you pull a guy, the linebackers think that their running back is going to follow the pulling guard.
Now Hester's in the backfield, and he'll come out of the tailback spot in motion on first down. Right, quick throw, and that one is in the vicinity of the LSU defenders more than his intended receiver. We talked about the play of the offensive line of Miami this year as they allowed 32 sacks, 9 of those in that loss I mentioned to Florida State, and the coaches called that a wholesale breakdown. Now, Eric Winston wasn't completely healthy at that time either. He was still coming back from the knee injury that sidelined him for about half of last season. And on that last running play, he and Tyler McMeans just opened the world up to Charlie Jones. So Eric's getting better and better as the season goes along, actually. Second down and 10. Right to throw, maybe. Nope, he's going to have to run and get what he can, and he gets inside the 40 to about the 39. 5-yard scramble for Wright. And it will bring up a third down situation, third down at about 5. Kyle Wright hit his first 4 passes, and he has now missed his last 4.
Well, he seems under control, composed. Bo Pelini, the defensive coordinator, told us earlier in the week, he said, we want to get him thinking about what he's doing. We want to get him unsettled. We want to confuse him and put pressure on him.
Good, tough first quarter. Kind of what we thought. Some big plays, but some tough defense. And at the end of one of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Miami 3, LSU 3. Set to start the second quarter. Happy holidays from ESPN. 3-3. We welcome you back to the Georgia Dome in the 2005 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan. Kind of what we expected. Good defensive play so far. Both quarterbacks have looked pretty good, and I like what Hester and Schuyler are doing. That
Swanee was talking about. A lot of life in those two guys. A lot of big plays, and they're juicing it up a little bit.
There's nothing to lose. That's the good part about a bowl game in this situation. You're not playing for a national championship, and Hester starts at the tailback spot. Here he comes, off tackle, and he got almost a first down run out of it. The question, I think, arises, Bob, you and Lynn and I and everybody talking about it today. Larry Coker's made it known that this is what he wants to do with Devin Hester next year. He says, I want him to be our Reggie Bush. The question in my mind is, did he wait too long to decide to do that and showcase him in this game? If he plays too well, he might go pro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Coker doesn't want him to do too well, because if he scores 4 touchdowns and 250 yards, Devin's going to say, hey, I'm ready to go, I'm going. Of course, he may be going anyway, but we don't know that.
Right.
But he's an outstanding talent. There's no question about it.
Just a little bit short of the first down about the length of the football. We didn't mention earlier, talking about guys that may go to the National Football League. Ryan Moore, normal starting wide receiver, was suspended for this bowl game. Rules violations, team rule violations, and not playing tonight. And Lance Leggett is the guy that's starting for him. Now, Moore's also already graduated, and there's some thought that Ryan may decide not to come back and play another year and go to the National Football League instead. So those are some questions that all coaches have to answer, and Larry and the guys before him at Miami have always had such great players that they always face that kind of problem.
You hate to lose talented players, but they always have some behind them to step up.
4th and inches. Nice play fake by Wright. He's going to run it, but he's not going to get there. Knocked out of bounds. It appears to be at about the line of scrimmage, if we're seeing the spot right in front of the Miami bench. LSU takes over.
Here's youth for you, the quarterback. The tight end on here is going to come wide open. Watch he's going to play action fake. The tight end from across the field is wide open. And at that time, he says, I'm just going to run it. I'm just going to run for the first down.
Olsen majoring in criminology, and he's going, that was a crime. He didn't see me waving my hands
right.
back there.
This is the first year Kyle Wright's playing, but still, he's had 12 starts. You need to look for that first.
Here's Flynn in his first start, and he's going to tuck it and take off as he did earlier in the game and slides forward near midfield. Another nice run, 14-yard pickup this time.
I like what I'm seeing from Matt Flynn. And the reason I like it is he's doing it against one of the best defenses in the country. He hasn't done anything really bad. He hasn't blown up. He hasn't dropped the ball, throw it for interceptions or whatever. If guys are covered, he's moving around, and then he's picking up yardage.
You know, Les Miles said to us yesterday, this guy was in the battle at the beginning of the season to be the starting quarterback, so don't cut him short. Don't sell him short, and tonight he's looked pretty good on his first start. Just on the Kane side of the 50, a dive. Whoa! Hello, John Beeson. That's more like what you normally see out of Miami linebackers. A guy that signed here as a safety and got bigger, even played some fullback.
Yep. He was one of those guys in high school that was so good he played both ways. And when he came to the University of Miami, he was first a fullback because they needed help over there.
This is a form tackle coming up here. Boom. And back to the 48-yard line with the loss. 3 wideouts and 2 tight ends for Matt Flynn in the shotgun. He's missed his last 4 pass attempts. He's got this one complete, though. Close to a first down. Down at the 41-yard line, about a yard shy. Buster Davis with a catch, and Beeson, the linebacker we just talked about, made the hit. And now it brings up a 3rd down and short. About a yard and a half here in the second quarter, tied at 3.
Big third down here. It's not in an area where it's a 4-down situation. If you don't make it here, you got to punt it away.
They've got 2 tight ends, including Zinger. He's in motion on 3rd and short. On the ground, flags are down. Looks good enough for the first down, but again, a penalty marker on the play might negate that first down run.
Well, it looks like a first down from the first down line, the yellow line.
It's not going to matter.
Yep.
We'll have to do it again and try to earn it on a 3rd down and 6.
See, that'll drive a coach
illegal
nuts.
Formation on the offense. 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
That'll really drive you nuts.
Penalty,
Formation
third
problems.
down.
It's only the 13th game of the year. That's why you go crazy when you have formation problems.
I mean, Les, I'd love to see you jump up and down and get mad, scream at him.
That might come later.
Yeah, that's just not his personality, but you can imagine he's not very happy with that.
99th, as Bob mentioned earlier, and you saw there graphically. Yeah, this guy, I don't know. Swanee talked about partying too much over the holidays. It is a night game, and it's been a long day in Atlanta.
He didn't care about that.
No, he didn't care. 3rd down and 7. Going to have to hustle to get the play off, and now flags flying anyway.
68 offense. 5 yards, 3rd down.
What did he say?
Delay a game, apparently. There was, as we looked in the stadium, there was time left on the clock. So now it's going to be 3rd down and 12.
File this under the column beating yourself.
Yeah.
It was 3rd and inches. Now it's 3rd and 12.
What I don't understand is the score clocks in the end zone still had a second remaining, and yet the flags were thrown. Flynn going deep. He's got a man out there. Get him! Davis! Touchdown! I guess all the penalties just gave him more room to operate. 51 yards, touchdown. Buster Davis, a career-long 51-yard strike from Matt Flynn in his first start. Colt David in for the point after. And it's up and good. And now it's LSU, the SEC, with a big strike on a 3rd and a mile. And Flynn threw it a mile. Davis on the receiving end.
Flynn had been 0 for 3 on 3rd down passes. We told you they like to go for the big play. Here, watch the corners go to blitz. That means the safety has to come over and pick up a guy running a deep post route. Good protection, single coverage down the field, and this is a great throw. Get it down the field. Strong arm.
You can't throw it much better than that.
Well, watch the receiver. He comes in like he's going to go for the first down. That little hesitation right there. Then he takes a quick slant and turns it up into that post. That's just enough of a move that doesn't take much time. They just get you wide open for that touchdown.
Yeah,
And Randy Phillips, a true freshman, is the guy that he put the move on. So 10-3 here. Time now for 30 and 30. Here's Reese. All right, Reese, thank you. 10-3 on the kickoff. It's Devin Hester taking it on the hop again at about the 8-yard line. And he is swarmed under again. LSU's got his number right now, especially on kick returns. Derry Beckwith, the freshman, made a stop on the special team.
Well, I like what they've done on their last 2 kickoffs. The first one earlier, they squibbed it down there to mess up the timing. And this one, they kicked over to the corner near the sideline.
Got an injured Tiger on the play. And I think it's Justin Vincent. And, boy, that would be a huge blow because he's the number 2 tailback and a good one. And if anything should happen to Joseph Adai in the ball game, they'd be down to Sharon Carey, who's pretty decent 3rd man as well. But Vincent, they expected to play a lot tonight. Now he's down here on the special teams. Our drive summary presented by Drive Insurance from Progressive. 4 plays, 64 yards. And on a 3rd and 12, Matt Flynn, a 51-yard touchdown pass to Buster Davis.
And I'm pretty impressed with Matt Flynn. First start of the year, first start of his career. As we mentioned in the opening, he's been around for 3 years. He was an outstanding high school player coming out. Could have gone a lot of different places, decided to come to LSU. LSU's got 3 outstanding quarterbacks. Jamarcus Russell, who is injured tonight, Flynn, and then Perlew, a guy that
a redshirting
guy that we won't see tonight.
There's what Matt's numbers look like. Couple of deflected passes, but now 10 unanswered points with Justin Vincent down. We'll take a break here with 11 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And now 10 straight points by the Tigers, including this touchdown, has them in front by 7.
Good evening and welcome to this telecast of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. You know, for over a decade, Chick-fil-A's been the title sponsor of a game that's become a great college tradition. Also quite proud of the fact that the proceeds from this game benefit the WinShape Foundation, which encourages kids to be at their very, very best, strengthens marriages, and also helps provide scholarships for college students. So on behalf of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, 650 volunteers, we hope you enjoy this telecast and enjoy this great game between Miami Hurricanes and the LSU Tigers.
I tell you what, we got it off with a bang in the national anthem. I did not know that was Dan doing that. He was awesome. I looked at you and I said, remember Al Hurt back in the days of the Super Bowls? That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, I agree.
16-yard line for Miami now to first down. Charlie Jones at the tailback spot. Lance Leggett in motion, and Jones gets the call on the left side. Broke a tackle or 2. And got out to about the 20-yard line. Dan Cathy, the chairman, who just had the message and played the anthem before the ball game, along with both bands, I might add. 11:20 in the clock running here in the second quarter. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our ESPN crew. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl dating back to 1968 when it all started. They played a few of them at Grant Field. in the mud. And they got AstroTurf at Grant Field. They moved it to Fulton County Stadium, and they played it in the mud. Quadrin Hill, the fullback, on field turf, has a first down for Miami. Man, some of those games back at old Fulton County Stadium back in the 70s and 80s, we used to call them here in town the weather bowls, because it always was cold or sleeting or raining. And when they moved the bowl inside this building, and when the Atlanta Sports Council got a hold of being in charge along with the folks from Chick-fil-A, every year it's gotten better and better. And here for the first time, 2 top 10 teams here at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And right now it's number 10 LSU leading number 9 Miami by a touchdown. Out of the shotgun. Right across the middle. He's got Hester, and he's got open field. Devin Hester looking for, oh, what a block! Out to the 44-yard line. Oh, what an earhole job you're going to see on this replay. And it was Darnell Jenkins who was called for holding earlier at wide receiver. Watch the comeback and the crack he gets.
Well, watch Kyle Wright right here. The linebacker is going to be free. Watch as he just avoids, just throws around the linebacker right here. Throws it to the inside. Now watch this.
Oh, that hurts.
Both quarterbacks have been very impressed with. That was almost a helmet-to-helmet shot, Brad.
It was. LSU almost jumped in the neutral zone again. They get out of there. First down, Miami at its own 44. Right, quick drop, quick throw, incomplete. Some pretty good pressure LSU did that time. If you're squeamish and you don't like decleters, don't look at this. Wow.
See. Yeah, Wright gets rid of it. You got to do that. You got to hang in there, especially if you see that you got an open man and some running room for him. That was a big-time play by Kyle Wright. That helmet-to-helmet hit may have been called a foul in the NFL. I think that's one thing the college game needs to take a look at.
I agree. 2nd and 10 with a screen pass out the flat. Quadrin Hill picks up his blockers and picks up a first down. I really like this kid, always have. Fullback doesn't carry the ball much, but he knows what to do with it out of the backfield. Came in with 25 receptions. And Quadrin, who's a captain and a senior out of Sunrise, Florida, with another Miami first down.
Yeah, he's been here 5 years. He is really a tailback playing fullback. Came in with 66 career receptions, 2 for touchdowns. His dad played for the Miami Dolphins. And Q, as he's like to be called, would like to play in the NFL, but he's kind of one of those in-between guys.
Yep.
He's always in there because they relied on him, and he knows who to block on third down passing situations.
He's also one of Miami's scholar athletes, and they were introduced at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl luncheon yesterday, and I saw his broadcasting major. I said, we might be needing you somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
On the ground. And actually, he did not get a first down, so they're trying to pick it up on third down and short, and they might still be short. This could be a huge play coming up with 9:38 remaining in the half for Miami. And they're going to bring the sticks out just in case, but I think if our line's right, he's the length of the football at least short of the first down. And do you go for it here in the second quarter?
Well, I think your thinking sometimes changes when it's a bowl game, and not earlier in the season.
And he is just that much shy.
Miami has punted the last 2 possessions, whereas LSU has scored on their last 2 possessions.
Well, they bring out Brian Monroe to punt.
But if you've got any trick plays from punt formation, this is where you might use it. Across midfield. Of course, LSU just keeps their defense in and just plays defense.
Quadrin Hill, the fullback's one of the protectors in the group of 3. But they'll snap it to Monroe, and he'll kick it away. Fielded on the run, fair catch. At about the 13-yard line, a 33-yard kick, and Skylar Green with the fair catch for LSU. So Miami plays it safe. They don't get a lot out of it, but they do have LSU pinned inside its own 15-yard line as number 15 comes back to take the controls. His last pass It was a 51-yard touchdown right on the money.
You know the thing I'm impressed with? We had the shot of him on the sideline, and he was just
kind of laid back.
Just looking around. You know, what else? What else you want me to do? I'll hold. I'll throw touchdown passes. What, are we playing the Miami Hurricanes? That defense that knocks out quarterbacks 7 or 8 a string a couple of years ago? Not me.
At the 14-yard line, handoff, big opening for a dive. Across the 30-yard line and out to the 32. Boy, that looked like the run that Jones had earlier from about the same spot off the left side. He goes 18 yards. Will Arnold got a nice block to lead the way.
Just good blocking to the left side. Oh, nice job. It was kind of a draw block on the left side where they let the defensive end rush upfield, almost take himself out of the play. That was Carroll, number 90.
A dive 37 yards on the ground, doing a good job. LSU in front with 9 minutes remaining first half. Nice play fake. Clem's got a man wide open in the flat, and he got it complete to Jones, the tight end. They don't use the tight end a lot, but big David Jones out of Silver Spring, Maryland, got wide open out there in the flat.
Well, they had 2 men lined up right off of the outside, and just a little play action fake. I'm really impressed with Matt Flynn.
Me too. Out of Tyler, Texas. They produce some pretty good football players.
Oh, yes.
Carter and Brazil are in at wide receiver. Both split to the left side. Second down, long one. A guy just jumped through the hole. And he's all the way out near midfield. Let's check in with Swanee.
Thank you, Brad. I'm with former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, Lehman Bennett, who's chairman of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And Lehman, you've got some new plans for the Peach Bowl here.
Yes, we do, Lynn. We've just signed a new contract with Chick-fil-A to try to take the bowl to a new level, and we're looking forward to that opportunity and think we'll get it.
When you say take it to a new level, what does that mean for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl?
Well, what it means to us is we'll have a chance to perhaps get into the BCS, and we've already taken it to a new level because we've just signed a new contract with the ACC that will allow us to pick number 2 behind their BCS pick. So we feel very good about always getting a great pick out of the ACC right now.
Well, you're getting a great pick out of the ACC, and the SEC is playing great here also. But let me ask you this. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, it's been called the Peach Bowl for a long time. Part of that contract says it will just be the Chick-fil-A bowl game.
And that's correct. And obviously there's a couple of reasons for that. One of them being we signed a $22 million contract, and it's a 5-year rollover contract. So from the bowl side of it, we feel very good. Chick-fil-A is going more national with their market, and they feel like college sports is a way for them to touch the market that they want to reach. So it's a win-win situation for both of us.
Coach, thank you very much.
All right, then, nice to meet you.
David Bennett, former head coach here in Atlanta and with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the chairman of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And so from next year on, it will be the Chick-fil-A Bowl.
Yeah.
And while we are very proud of Chick-fil-A being a privately owned family company that is based here in Atlanta, I think a lot of us maybe will always at least wear a peach-colored tie when we come to this game.
I know Furman Bisher, the outstanding writer for the Journal Constitution here in Atlanta, had an article saying, we ought to keep the name Peach in there, but money does funny things to people.
That will always be the Peach State, let's put it that way. A die and a run for a first down up the middle, and a flag on the play. Injured man on the play, too, for Miami coming out to middle linebacker Romeo Davis. Here's a call.
No flag.
They're going to pick it up.
The foul was for illegal formation. However, there were 7 men on the line of scrimmage.
Well, they had that call earlier with only 6 on the line of scrimmage. They waved this one off, and so they moved the sticks. And Miami, at least for this play, loses its middle linebacker.
Well, he's been in and out of the lineup. In fact, he's been in and out of the locker room, probably getting x-rays or something, but we have had no report on him. But he went back in the ball game. 1st and 10, LSU. Maybe trying to take command of this ball game in the first half here if they can get another touchdown. Carey is in at the tailback spot. They fake it to him, and Flynn's going to the corner of the end zone. Hester incomplete. That was the fullback, Hester, sneaking out of the backfield.
That was a well-thrown ball, too.
It was great throw. This ball can't be thrown any better. It's right on his hands.
Wow.
Now,
perfect.
I'll say this about that. That's a fullback.
Yep.
But he's caught 10 passes coming into the ball game tonight, so.
Swally may have an update on Romeo Davis. Lynn?
They took him in to look at his shoulder. They wouldn't tell me which shoulder, but then they came back and said he's okay to come in and play. He's been playing a little bit. Well, obviously he's not himself.
Skylar Green, direct snap. He's going to run it on the inside to the 20-yard line where he runs into Willie Williams. His forward progress got him to the 20, maybe a shade inside the 20. So both teams in the formation situation with Devin Hester and Skylar Green, using them all over the field.
This offense, without their leader, Jamarcus Russell, coming in, they were like 64th in the nation in total offense, and they lost their leader. I mean, they're moving at will against this Miami defense.
And we see that 138 yards on the ground, and that already is season high. We got a half and 5:45 remaining. Third down and 8. Here comes everybody. Flynn's in trouble, and down he goes. That one pays off. Brandon Merriweather on the safety blitz.
Yeah. You can't get too comfortable back there in the quarterback, because this Hurricane defense is going to show you some new stuff.
Brandon Merriweather, the emotional leader and the talker in that secondary. And that sack puts him 1 sack away from having the school record for sacks by a safety. So he knows how to get to the quarterback. They're going to try a field goal to become a 47-yard field goal attempt. He missed from 50 and hit a shorter one. Jackson's kick on the way. Perfect. That's a beauty. 47-yard field goal. So LSU puts 3 more on the board. They stretch their lead to 10. And the SEC leads the ACC in the Chick-fil-A Beach Bowl in Atlanta. At the Georgia Dome in Atlanta with Bob Greasy, who will be the champion of our Aflac trivia questions this year after Swanee took the first year. I was the champion a year ago, and it's out of our hands now that Bob's going to win the coveted Duck Trophy from Aflac. That's something we do on all our ABC broadcasts, and so tonight we have an Aflac trivia question coming up here on ESPN.
And I know you guys.
And this one doesn't count.
And I know you guys didn't tank it this year just because I had won.
No, I like you, but I don't like you that much.
Yeah, but you're going to have to wait till the Sugar Bowl
for the actual trophy.
To get the trophy
right.
That rotates, talks, and yours might just fly.
Jackson's kick deep. Hester over the shoulder. He says, I don't want any part of this one. So Miami will work from its own 20-yard line with just under 5 minutes remaining, and they've got their full complements of timeout. Speaking of Aflac, time for our Aflac trivia question. Which Miami or LSU head coach has won the most bowl games with that team? All right, we got to think about that one a little bit.
Think about that one.
That could be tough.
I don't have my assistant to go through the media guides.
We've got him buried down in a dark room in the dungeon of the Georgia Dome. That's right. Got rid of your cell phone. You have no help, champ. First down at the 20. And the pass complete. Short gain, though, to Sonoris Moss. The tackle right away by Hollis.
Miami's had the ball 4 possessions. They had a field goal after 11 plays on their opening drive, and since then they've punted twice and they gave the ball up on downs. So, and they had, this is the they haven't got good field position either. The -14, -16, and now this is the 20-yard line where they're starting against a very good LSU defense.
Second down and 6. Quick throw. Whoa. And Leggett put the brakes on. I don't know if he didn't want any part of the LSU secondary or if he just expected that pass to go.
I don't like what Leggett's doing. This is a couple of times he's done this. He's just thrown his arms up, looked up around, and said, where's he going with that ball?
Remember, he's the starter because Ryan Moore has been suspended from this game.
I mean, I don't like that in a right wide receiver. I mean, you run through the slant. If the ball's not thrown there, you go back and you pat your quarterback and say, all right, how can we work this out?
You know, he had a slump earlier this year of not catching passes, and Larry Coker had to pull him aside and said, listen, you got to start catching the football. He might have that same conversation tonight. Kyle Wright just got leveled by Melvin Oliver. And it's like Kyle never saw him coming. Loss of 9. So Monroe's going to have to come in and kick.
Well, this Miami offense has got to figure this out. Here he comes from the backside from the long route. Hill blocks inside.
At some point, you got to know what's coming right there.
Well, they blitzed. He thought he had the man blocked with Q Hill, but when they blitzed, Hill picked up the most dangerous, and Oliver had the speed to get there.
Bad news is now they're kicking to Skylar Green. If he gets an open field, look out. But it's a great punt by Monroe. Green's got to go way back to the 30-yard line. And they put him down right there. Boy, that was a great kick when Miami needed one.
Yeah, but normally when you have a great kick like that, a good punt returner will bring it back. That was nice coverage by the 3 defender, the Miami Hurricanes, getting down to tackle the Skylar Green.
3:22 remaining. The Aflac trivia question. Here was the question again.
Boy,
which Miami or LSU head coach has won the most bowl games with that team? They gave us, what, 3 plays to think about that?
Didn't give us much time here.
No, not at all. Oh, man.
Holy smoke, just a minute here.
Yeah, give us a break. I'll get the answer after this play. Flynn may be changing things up at the line and drops back to throw. Plenty of time. Deep out. Nice pass. Got his man. Dwayne Bowe. And Bowe's down to the 35-yard line. He made a nice catch. And then he ran around 2 would-be tacklers, and he got 33 yards.
You're exactly right. Bowe does a nice job of finding the ball, and the Hurricanes don't find it. That's Maxey, 24. But he goes deep. Both the defensive men they're waving at it. Nice play by Bowe. And a good throw. Get it to the outside. Your man's going to catch it.
Now they go on the ground to a dive. And he's inside the 30 to the 29. LSU with another good drive going, and they've got all their timeouts left with 2:44 to go and a 10-point second quarter lead. Second down and a long 5 coming up. Flynn's look good. Adai again follows his blockers.
I'll tell you, Flynn's looked good because the offensive line has done a nice job of handling that defensive line and linebackers, allowing Adai and these other guys to pick up some rushing yardage.
Under 2 minutes remaining. LSU with a 10-point lead, courtesy of a couple of field goals. And the 51-yard touchdown pass, part of 138 for Matt Flynn tonight in his first start. LSU with 2 tight ends now in on a 3rd and 1. One of those tight ends, Blanchard in motion, sets up now on the right side. And that's where it looked like they'd go, but Adai changes his mind and his direction, and he's got another first down run. Boy, he's quick with that hop in the hole, isn't he, Bob?
He
just
is.
Sort of hops around in there.
He is, and he's got good, quick feet. And what he's doing, he's starting out this way, and the play, watch all the linebackers for Miami come, and then he cuts it back. This quick Miami defense, look at this. Look at this hole that he's got over here. The play was supposed to go to our left side, and he's just starting that way. Miami's reacting so quickly, and it creates a hole on the backside.
That's what I was talking about with the tight end, the extra tight end over there, and he came right back against the green, and he's got 90 yards on 16 carries. Flynn, play action with time, and now running out of it. And on getting rid of it. He was out of the pocket, incomplete. And he'll save the play for another coming up.
He looked at his receiver. He looked at his guy. Says, "I know you recovered. I was just throwing it away.
Yep.
No big deal. I got this tough Miami defense under control."
So now we're under a minute. LSU still has all its timeouts remaining. There's Justin Vincent heading to the locker room, shaking up on that special teams play earlier, and he's got a definite limp in his gait.
Remember a couple years ago when he was the MVP of the championship game?
It's sensational. And the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
So he had back-to-back big games. Out of the gun, Flynn throws a strike, and Bo catches it on the other end. First down LSU. We'll be back for that first down play after we check in with Reese in the studio.
All right, Brad, coming up at halftime, we have the latest on Kobe Bryant's situation. Missouri had a tremendous comeback. We'll also look ahead to the Rose Bowl and talk to these guys about great comebacks. That's all on the Dodge halftime report. Brad, I believe the Aflac trivia answer is Charlie McClendon. I know I'm a little late to this competition, but that's my guess.
I like that. We needed a good guess because that sounds pretty good.
Yeah. He probably looked it up or had some of his researchers back in the studio there.
First and 10 at the 11. Flynn wants more. Across the middle, got his man. It's Davis again. And he's inside the 5. 8-yard pickup. And a timeout with 28 seconds remaining. We'll find out about the Aflac trivia answer and see if the Tigers can put up more points when we come back. Miami's defense would love to hold LSU to a field goal here. 65 yards in 7 plays. And a second down for the Tigers. Second down and 2. 3 tight end set. Adai, the tailback, behind Steltz, his big lead blocker at fullback. Those tight ends now move and shift, and Jones goes out wide to the right. Adai hit immediately. Nice closing by John Beeson, the linebacker from the backside. Boy, they needed that play, Miami did. Timeout with 23 seconds remaining in the half. LSU trying to cash in. LSU 3 out of 7 on their third down conversions, and again they can get a first down at about the 1-yard line. They were in this situation earlier in the ball game. Matt Flynn started kind of rough, completed his first pass, then missed 4, but he's been sensational ever since. Miami looked like they were a man short defensively, and they run somebody out. And now they might have too many guys out there.
The problem is LSU goes to the sideline, and then they come right out. Miami doesn't know who they personnel-wise who they got in there. So they're having trouble with the substitutions.
Well, we asked the Aflac trivia question earlier. These coaches, actually not these coaches, but which Miami or LSU head coach has won the most bowl games with that team? Well, by process of elimination, we figured Miami, once they got winning, they didn't stick around long enough to win a lot of ball games.
They had Schnellenberger for 5 years, Johnson for 5 years, Erickson for 6, Butch for 6.
And then I said maybe it was like Paul Dietzel. They won a national championship. I don't think he had that many other good seasons. So, you know what? Reese has probably got a good idea. Let's go with Charlie McClendon.
I think Charlie McClendon, but
Swanee, what do you think?
Well, I mean, he's got studio resources. I'm just on the sideline. Let's go with the smart play.
All right, let's see what the answer is. And the answer is, there we go.
Charlie Mack.
Familiar face, that's for sure.
Fence.
7
Swanee
ball
and I.
And Reese Davis is the leader in the clubhouse. Good job, Reese.
For bowl games.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, though. An addendum trivia.
You always have a backup, don't you?
Yeah. What do Nick Saban and Paul Dietzel have in common?
Winning a national title.
LSU national championship.
There you go. That's why some of the LSU folks are not too happy with all the talk about the Trojans of USC going for their 3rd straight. They said, wait a minute.
I hear you.
You forgot about us.
I hear you.
Well, Miami's not going to forget about LSU if they can't stop them here on 3rd down and 3. They fake the inside handoff. Flynn flares it to a dive. Touchdown, Tigers.
That's just a great play. And Jimbo Fisher getting it called at the right time is even better.
Beautifully executed. They faked the inside handoff as though they were going to run an end around. And then Adai, who's been sensational as a runner, comes up as a receiver in this case. His 19th catch of the year. This one good for a 4-yard touchdown. Boy, it's going to be a long second half for Miami unless they can find some offense against this LSU defense. Extra point by Colt David is good. And with just 18 seconds remaining in the first half, the SEC and the Tigers of LSU have taken command of the game here. Talk about a cool customer, and here's another look.
There you go right here. Well, hold on a second. Here's the motion guy. He's going to come across, but Adai, the back right here, is going to slide out into the flat. There he is right here. Adai just slides right through there. Everybody sees the motion guy coming to the far side, and everybody jumps on him.
And then it was a matter of getting it over the on-rushing defensive end, which he did beautifully.
He did. That was a great throw, getting around Pata, number 95. Fakes there. There's a lot of good stuff for a backup quarterback that has never started a game right there.
They've scored on their last 4 drives, 20 unanswered points, and as Bob said earlier, he's going, hey, I don't care who I'm playing against. Swanee, you talked to him this week, Matt, and he said all the right things about I'm not nervous. You know, this is my chance. I have to step up to the plate. I guess he wasn't kidding.
Well, he obviously was not kidding, and he said, when I talked to him, I asked him, I said, when you wake up in the morning like on December 27th, and you're lying in bed, and you're not getting up, and you got that little funny feeling in your stomach, what are you thinking? He goes, well, when you're lying there, you're only thinking good things. He said, what I wanted to think about was how to win this ball game for the seniors because it meant so much to us in this program. Well, and he's living up to it.
You got that right. He's only doing good things, not only just thinking about good things. Nice kick by Jackson. And Miami's only got 18 seconds left to work here in the second quarter. Saturday, ESPN2 has a couple of bowl games. First at 11 Eastern. South Florida Bulls make the school's first ever bowl game appearance. They'll take on the Wolfpack of NC State in the Meineke Car Care Bowl, followed by a TCU team that captured a piece of the WAC title this year. They'll take on Iowa State in the EV1.net Houston Bowl. Meineke Car Care Bowl and the EV1.net Houston Bowl, part of Capital Bowl Week on ESPN2, and all available in sparkling high definition. Well, Miami is going to have to come up with something at halftime to give Kyle Wright a chance and their offense a chance to counteract what Matt Flynn has done for LSU. Tiger fans give the LSU team a standing ovation as they head to the locker room, and we head down to Lynn Swan.
Well, Coach Miles, I want you to take a couple of look at some replays of Matt Flynn and give me your assessment of his first half.
Well, you know, one thing he does very comfortably, he gets back in the pocket, sees an open lane. He's got great feet, ad-libs with a run. He does that a couple times in this half. Big plays for us. He has a good, comfortable throw. He can hit a deep ball. He always could.
Well, you've been able to see him in practice throw accurate passes. When did you know he had this kind of presence, this calm that he's demonstrated tonight that you don't normally see in a guy in this big situation?
Well, I want you to know, we expected that. Matt Flynn has that to him. He's going to compete. He competes well.
Okay, Coach. Thank you. We'll see you in the second half.
All right. And he was a cool customer. 2 touchdown passes for Flynn in his first start, and a 20-3 halftime lead for the Tigers of LSU as we send it to Reese and the guys in the studio. Back inside the Georgia Dome, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl of 2005. And right now it's the SEC controlling the ACC. 20-3, LSU is the leader at halftime. And Miami's got some catching up to do. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler and Bob Greasy. We came into this game, we talked about Matt Flynn. First start at quarterback for the sophomore. Would he be ready? Would he be rattled? Between he and Adai, I don't know who's playing better.
Well,
as we send it to Reese and the guys in the studio. Back inside the Georgia Dome, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl of 2005. And right now it's the SEC controlling the ACC. 20-3, LSU is the leader at halftime. And Miami's got some catching up to do. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler and Bob Greasy. We came into this game. We talked about Matt Flynn. First start at quarterback for the sophomore. Would he be ready? Would he be rattled? Between he and Adai, I don't know who's playing better.
Well, the big thing Matt Flynn is doing is he's staying calm, smart, poised. The other thing he's doing is using his legs. He's running the football, and he's throwing the ball well. And Adai has just been the tough guy inside. He's got almost 100 yards in the first half against a very tough defense.
And not only that, opened things up for the play-action pass and the touchdown reception by Adai. So they've been the two stars. Now the story is, where's Miami going to find some offense against this LSU defense?
You need to get the ball to your tight end, Olsen. He hasn't caught a pass.
Right.
And you need to help your quarterback out. On the outside, Ryan Moore's not there. Somebody's got to step up. They've thrown the ball to Leggett a couple of times.
And he's backed away from it a couple
times. He hadn't
times.
won any part of it, so they may have a problem there, but you got to start moving the ball down the field.
And we'll see if Devin Hester, if they use him the same way that they used him a lot in the first half, as both a tailback, a wide receiver, quarterback at times.
It seemed like they may have gotten wrapped up with Devin Hester at the very beginning, and some of that stuff was working. But you need to get back and do what you do best.
Look at the passing yards. You would think if Jamarcus Russell was here that 161 wouldn't be a big deal, but with Flynn in his first start has been sensational. They've got over 300 yards total offense.
That third down conversions, LSU has converted 4 of 8. Miami can't get off the field defensively. They've been the best in the league in getting off the field, but not tonight.
The good news for the Canes, they get the football first, and the good news is they have that number 4. Skylar Green, his counterpart, on the other side. But Devin Hester's played just about every position. We'll see if he can get free on a kick return. They kicked the first one to him, and he had a good return. Illegal block, and since then they've either squibbed it or tried to keep it out of his hands.
Sometimes you can get too wrapped up in doing something special with a player, and the rest of the teammates knew this was going to be going on, so they may have been just sitting back and watching.
And then you got Chris Jackson, who says, I don't care who's back there, they're not going to touch it, I'm going to kick it deep. And he did, so Miami will have to work from its own 20-yard line. Check in with Swanee.
Well, Brad, I talked to Larry Coker, and he said LSU is not doing anything that's surprising to them. Yes, Matt Flynn has been playing phenomenal, but the plays they're calling and what they're doing has not been a surprise. He says he told his football team, you make up your mind what you want to do. You come out in the second half, and you can either be embarrassed or you can come out and be men and play up. This team is not playing with any energy, not with any enthusiasm, and he challenged them to come out and play with energy and enthusiasm for the second half.
And you know the guys like Warren Sapp and John Vilma and all the guys that came before him are sitting there right now going, these guys better show up or we'll be embarrassed, because at the U, as they call it, you know, you are expected to win not just bowl championships but national championships, and right now they're in a 17-point hole to start the third quarter.
And that first, the defensive line of LSU just put pressure on a short drop and a quick throw by Wright.
He aimed that one at Lance Leggett, and 3 passes thrown his way, no completions yet. 2nd and 10. Play action. Wright's got a man open right through the hands of Leggett. You got to catch it before you leg it.
Well, there's something wrong with Lance Leggett and Kyle Wright, and there's something wrong right there. He was either too shallow or too quick across the field. Something's wrong with Lance Leggett. I mean, he was a starter last year for a part of the time. He started 8 or 9 ball games. They pulled him out. Ryan Moore got back in this year. Something's not right. They're missing Ryan Moore more than they thought they would.
Whether by design or not, he just got pulled out right there, too. Khalil Jones goes in to take his spot. Olsen, the tight end, on the move. Here comes the blitz. The throw is incomplete, intended for Sonoris Moss, and he hasn't had his hands on many tonight either.
And now they got Wright a little bit jumpy and irritated and off center.
3rd 3 and out for Miami.
And that's big, because you come out, you plan, and you scheme. And what you're going to do the first drive is take the first drive and move it down, get some points, and you come out and you don't do anything.
Last time, Brian Monroe hit a big-time punt when they needed it to get out of their own end of the field and keep it from Skylar Green. He hit a 55-yarder. Green is waiting back at the 40 right now. Not as good a kick. A fair catch called for at about the 47-yard line. 20-3 LSU. Let's take a look at our game track. As LSU, 150 total yards allowed. They put pressure on Kyle Wright. Joseph Adai, 89 yards rushing. He's been sensational. I said he's healthier than he's been in a long time. And then not only Adai, but Flynn throwing to him out of the backfield. The 4-yard touchdown right before halftime, and that is where we are. 20-3. And LSU with great field position on their opening drive of the third quarter. At the 47-yard line. Draw play, Adai on the inside takes it into the Canes end of the field, almost to the 47-yard line. Even when it looks like they've got him bottled up, he finds a way to gain yards, and he got 6 more right there. The first half tonight in Flynn's first career start, over 300 yards of total offense in the first half.
Yeah,
averaging 366.
He's hit 8 of his last 10 passes. He looks in control.
Two tight ends in for LSU, both wideouts down to the bottom of your screen. On a second down at 4. It's Adai again, and he got the corner, and he got the first down. Took a big hit from John Beeson, but it was too little too late. And
you know, it was just about a month ago, I think, that LSU was in this building and lost to Georgia pretty convincingly.
Yep.
They played, because of the hurricane, they played 11 straight weeks.
Right.
I think they were tired. They were leg weary. They are rested now. They have a different quarterback, and this quarterback is more consistent than the one that was playing before. And this one can run. He is very, very good on his feet, whereas Jamarcus Russell cannot run. He's run a couple of times for some big plays.
On first down, he loses yardage this time, a loss of about 2. Glenn Cook made the stop on a dive. Tonight, already over 100 yards, and when he goes 100 plus, they don't lose.
Well, this is the most complete game, or the complete half, that LSU has played all year.
Well, Adai only had 2 carries against Georgia in the SEC championship game back in the first weekend of December in here, and they lost 34-14 to the Dogs.
Well, I'm taking into consideration the opponent. And Miami's a very, very good opponent, and they're playing. LSU is playing very well.
Flynn over the middle, complete. Davis collared and got away. And he's close to another first down. He might have it. I think he does. Davis, who had a big catch earlier in the ball game for the touchdown.
So, Bob and Brad, let me offer you this point also for LSU and Matt Flynn and the way they're playing this football game. What all the players in this team are doing are stepping up. They're not asking Matt Flynn to win the game by himself. The receivers are stepping up, the running back, the offensive line. Everyone's taking their share of the load so that Matt Flynn can just execute and not have to worry about winning the ball game. That makes a huge difference.
That's a great point, Swanee. And here's a guy that's helping the cause. A dive into the secondary. First and goal, LSU. He just dragged half the Hurricane team with him. 25 more yards.
Take a look at the offensive line. It's Livings in the center. 44 is the fullback. Seltz.
Ran over Kenny Phillips.
Tough running.
Down to the 6-yard line. LSU with a 17-point lead and looking to add to it. They bring in 3 tight ends. And Adai stays in there. It's first and goal, Tigers. Now Jones comes out as a wide receiver. And the pitch to Adai, left side, easily, touchdown. That play worked on the first play of the ball game, and it worked again for a touchdown. Wow, what a show number 10's putting on.
What a show LSU is putting on.
Exactly. Right now, Miami just glad this isn't a double feature as far as shows. Extra point. Colt David up and good. So what Miami had hoped for was a big drive to open the third quarter. What they see instead is to LSU to go 53 yards and Joseph Adai to add to what he's already done tonight. 27-3 Tigers.
Hello, my name is Peter Mink. I work here in the embassy in Baghdad for the multinational force Iraq. I played for the Hurricanes in 64 to 68. Follow you every time, all the way. Go Canes.
All right, Peter, we might want to fly you in right now to help out the Canes cause. They're down 27-3. Welcome all of you that might be watching around the globe in our armed forces to Atlanta. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, where LSU is not only beating Miami, they're shocking them right now, 27-3. Chris Jackson to kick. Hester not going to have a shot at this one either. Miami's been starting at their 20 or worse for quite a while now. You can kick off your New Year's Eve with ESPN at what should be a high-scoring game. Fresno State's high-powered offense takes on the Tulsa Golden Hurricane in a meeting of two teams that averaged about 30 a game. AutoZone Liberty Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN, Saturday 1 Eastern. And that game also in high definition on ESPN HD. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today. Right now we're about Greasy Lynn Swan and some LSU fans that are happy right now in the Georgia Dome. At the 20-yard line, 4th straight drive that starts for Miami at the 20. Kyle Wright play action. Stretches it out. Now he's going to keep it. Boy, that's a big price to pay the way your night's been going to get 3 yards. But that's what he got. Highsmith and Oliver made the stop defensively for the Tigers.
Miami offensively, it's a combination of poor play by the quarterback, not getting any help from his wide receivers, and the offensive line not doing a good job opening up the holes up front. That time, Kyle Wright had a man open on the outside. He looked at the 2 inside receivers, but not the one that was open on the outside.
It's a long time without a first down. And we're at 11 remaining third quarter. And Jones going nowhere. Oliver, who made the last tackle, makes another. And a loss on the play. Yeah, Oliver, another one of the seniors on that veteran front that has 3 seniors and a junior.
Oliver is a very good defensive end, leads the team in sacks with 8. And those 3 guys coming out, the 2 guys, the 2 tackles we've been talking about, and Oliver, they're going to miss those guys next year.
Oliver out of Opelika, Alabama. How'd Auburn let him get away with it? 3rd down and 9. Right with time. Batted down at the line. Trying to go down the middle. I think it would have been Leggett, the intended receiver, but Kyle Williams never let it get that far. One of the captains of the defense.
Kyle Williams and Roten have done a great job all night. Those are the guys we talked about in the opening. These guys are going to be playing a lot of football on Sundays from here on out.
Yep. They're big and they're fast, and they plug that middle, and they do things like Williams just did there. So Monroe has to punt again. Another Miami situation of only keeping the ball momentarily. 3 and outs.
They have 2 3 and outs in the second half.
Green's going to take without a fair catch. Trying to get to the corner. And he bounces off tacklers, and he got a nice return. Now the flags fly in from all over. 12-yard return of a 42-yard kick. But there are multiple penalty markers on the play.
Back on the return team, number 23. 10-yard penalty, first down. Timeout.
So the penalty will back up that return. They'll still have good field position, though, and they'll have a comfortable lead of 27-3 with just over 10 minutes remaining in the third quarter. LSU fans are having a good time right now. They've got the lead, the football, 10:05 remaining in the third quarter. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan back at the Georgia Dome for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and it's been manhandled by the Tigers of LSU right now. First down from the 43-yard line. Flynn back to throw, completes it, Bo's got it across midfield, and he's got it to about the 48-yard line. Well, coming up Monday night on ABC Sports, we'll stay right in the same building. And the team that beat LSU the last time they played them, Georgia Bulldogs head coach Mark Richt. Good to have you, Coach. You got the whole team here, I guess, don't you?
Yeah, the whole team came. I'm not sure if they're still here. I said stay at least till halftime before you go back. But we're probably 200 yards away in our hotel. So.
Oh, that's good. You know, and an old Cane like you can't be liking what's happening here.
I'll tell you what, it's mixed emotions. I mean, it's my alma mater, and but you also want the SEC to do well. So I'm just glad I'm not having to make any decisions right now. That's the best part.
I don't know where Matt Flynn came up with this game compared to how he played against you guys a month ago, but the kid looks about as cool as you can. Well, right there, maybe not so much, as the ball's up in the air and up for grabs.
This doesn't look like the same LSU team that you guys beat a month ago.
Well, we were fortunate to gain that momentum early, and I think that really is the difference in the ball game. And, of course, they've grabbed the momentum in this game, and it's just so hard to change that tide once it gets rolling against you.
College football, that's a big deal.
It is, especially in a big game. It just everything seems to be a little bit more amplified in a big game like this.
What the Hurricanes have not done tonight has been able to get the ball to wide receivers. They keep throwing it and leg it. He keeps backing away from it. And I don't think you're going to have that situation with Massaquoi because you lost Sean Bailey, and that's a big loss to you.
Yeah, we did lose Sean, but we've got Kenneth Harris coming in, hopefully giving us some help right there. And of course, McClendon will do well for us too.
Third down and short. And they're going to get the first down. So LSU.
How about a young quarterback making his first start? Would you ever have thought that Matt Flynn would have come in against the Miami Hurricanes? Remember in the old days when the Hurricane defense was going along and they were putting niches on their belt?
Yeah, they had like
for guys that were knocking out of games.
Gravestones for quarterbacks.
Well, I knew it was like all spring long. I used to get the crud kicked out of me. And I know it's probably not professional, but I got to say, hi, Mom, because back when I played, I wasn't good enough to get him to put it on my mug, you know. So anyway, hello, Mom.
Hey, Mom, good to have you along with us.
I always had Jim Kelly's picture.
That's right. Who was Howard Schnellenberger? Was your coach?
Yeah, Coach Schnellenberger. Yeah. Actually, Lou Saban recruited me, and then the very next year, Howard Schnellenberger came in. And I missed the national championship by one season.
One season.
Yep.
Talk about what quarterbacks that wait their time or play behind somebody else. You had Dave Green, winningest quarterback all time in NCAA history. Now you got a guy that's up on our second level up here, and we're kind of winking at him right now.
Yeah.
He waited his turn, and I think a lot of people will go down in history as saying maybe DJ Shockley is the most loyal Bulldog ever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love the kid. I'm so proud of him, and so glad he stayed. And I'm glad he was blessed with an awesome season. He's now a Southeastern Conference first-teamer and a SEC champion.
And now you lose him. That's a bad one.
I know, and I hate it.
Well, and you've done a great job with him, and you've done a great job with quarterbacks. And, you know, just go back to your days at Florida State when you were the quarterback coach there and all of the quarterbacks that you developed there.
Yeah, well, it's been a great experience. You know, as a player, I didn't play much. I had Jim Kelly in front of me at Miami. Then I tried out for the Denver Broncos, and John Elway was there.
That's tough.
And then the next place I tried out was the Dolphins, and Dan Marino was there.
3 Hall of Famers.
That's right. The good Lord knew I was going to coach QBs. He knew I couldn't look in the mirror and know what a good one looked like.
Sometimes the quarterbacks that don't make it make the best coaches.
Well, I don't know about that either. It's been great.
You got Coach Rodriguez is up here, too. We're going to talk to him later. You got a heck of a matchup Monday night on ABC.
I'll tell you what, their offense has really hit their stride. Pat White has been averaging close to 200 yards a game rushing the last two times they've played, and they play great defense. So it's going to be a heck of a ball game.
Look forward to it. We'll be there with you.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. Mark Richt, head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs, in the Sugar Bowl here in the Georgia Dome on Monday night on ABC Sports, 8:30 Eastern Time. And now LSU continuing to run it down the field. Jacob Hester, the fullback, with a couple of carries. And a flag on the last player. He would have had another first down. Looks like maybe it's going to be a face mask on top of it.
Foul, face
That
mask,
is the
number
call.
92 on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty, first down.
What a huge hole.
Ooh.
And then the face mask right there.
And that's a big one, or so it appears. Orion Harris.
It's been a long time since we've seen holes that big in the defensive line of the Hurricanes.
So they walk it down inside the 20-yard line, down to the 17. Bo and Davis, the two wideouts, out to the left. They keep it on the ground with Hester. And he got a couple. Bring up second down and long. 8:15 remaining in the third quarter. All LSU right now, and the comparison, as you might expect statistically, is all LSU. 18 first downs to just 6 for Miami. You know, we'll talk a lot about it on Monday night with Georgia and West Virginia in the Nokia Sugar Bowl, but Mark Richt in his 5 years has done an unbelievable job. Over 50 wins already as a brand new head coach, and he'll be around for a long time in Athens, I think. And he is the SEC Coach of the Year. And Joe Paterno picked up another award today. Reese and the guys in the studio might have said this, but one of the awards based here in Atlanta, Joe Paterno won today, the Bobby Dodd Coach of the Year award. Hester out of the backfield. He's got it down, first and goal. And now they're just doing, really, it looks like anything they want.
I tell you what, we've said it and we would continue to say it. Is that Flynn that's on the ground?
I think it's a dive.
No, it's a dive, but a great touch pass, throwing it over the defensive man and throwing it away so that the receiver can run and catch the football.
A dive. This might be a cramp situation more than anything else.
Yeah, Bob and Brad, when he went down to the field, he was trying to stretch his leg out and trying to keep it straight. Every indication it's a cramp in his left leg.
Remember, he hasn't had this much work in quite a while. As I mentioned, he only had 2 carries in the SEC championship game, mostly because he'd been banged up. And now healthy, he's put on an unbelievable show tonight offensively for LSU. And as they attend to him down there at the 20-yard line, that looks like the problem. If you see that really stiff leg, that's usually what it means, and there you go. 131 yards and a touchdown and averaging 6 a pop.
So LSU now goes to their 4th tailback on the year. Broussard is out.
Yeah, they've been running Hester, the fullback,
Vincent,
some too.
And then Carey.
Carey played some in the first half, hasn't played in the second half yet. And they continue using Hester, the really number 2 fullback behind Steltz, the blocking back. That's what they've been doing on this drive anyway. And it's moved them down to a 1st and goal. And they can just put the stranglehold on the Hurricanes if they get another touchdown here.
Number 85 right there breaking the huddle. He is a center that is also doubles at a tight end. He wears 85 when he's at the tight end spot.
They run the other tight end in motion that way and give it off to Hester in the middle of the pile. The Hurricanes are there to meet him. It'll be 2nd down and goal. McIntosh, one of the first guys there. And they continue to unpile Harris and Dixon, the defensive lineman, in on the stop as well. 2nd down. Now, if Adai didn't have the cramps, they might do that little pitch out thing to the corner and get him out there on the edge.
Take a look at 85 there.
Blanchard. He's a big fella.
He is a backup center that wears 85 most of the game because he lines up at tight end. But if the center gets hurt, he changes numbers and goes back in and plays center.
2nd and goal. If you're going to do play action, do it here. Nope. Give it to Hester. Let him bang toward the goal line. He's very close. His teammates say touchdown, but the officials don't.
Yeah, they're looking at the wrong guy. The umpire does not make that call. Even if he crosses the line right in front of the umpire, he leaves it to the 2 side judges and the line judge to make the call.
Down to about the 1-foot line. LSU 60% on their 3rd down conversions tonight, and they've converted their last 4. This one is right at the Miami goal line, and it's Flynn, the quarterback. I don't think so. Not much of a surge there. Nice job defensively by Miami's front, and Matt really never got his footing going. It didn't appear. Put that left foot back there to kind of plant and try to push forward, and he never got any push. And there was a flag, and I didn't even see it the first time, but you saw it on the replay, thrown right into our camera's view from the near side.
Offside on the defense, number 99.
Wow.
It'll be half the distance to the goal. Repeat third down.
Kareem Brown offside, and that gives LSU another crack at it. Was he lined up in the neutral zone? Well, his head's over the his head's over the ball. Trying to get every inch he can, and he got too close to the line of scrimmage in the football. And now it's inches away for LSU, leading 27-3.
LSU has scored on their last 5 possessions, and the chances of scoring here are pretty good.
Hester's done most of the work on this drive. He gets the call, and he gets the touchdown. Jacob Hester from a yard or less.
Hester is the backup fullback in the short yardage and goal line tailback that they use in tough yardage.
They used him in just about every fashion on that drive. They threw passes to him. He ran off tackle. He ran inside and outside, and the last foot and a half for the LSU touchdown. I think you and I and Swanee didn't think we'd see 34 points between both teams because of the defenses. Certainly didn't expect 34-3 LSU. Well, Kyle Wright is a guy that's going to have to get things warmed up for Miami because they're running out of time, and they're trailing now 34-3. Boy, everything's going well when you back up fullback, plays a little bit of tailback, and you go 57 yards in 9 plays in 4.5 minutes, and you're leading a team that came in ranked above you 34-3. Jackson's been a busy kicker, and he's kept it out of Hester and company's hands for the most part in the ball game. This time they will return it from the goal line. Devin broke 1 tackle, but then he gets taken out of bounds almost by his own guys over there on the far side of the field at about the 25-yard line. So a little better field position than they've had, but Miami has been at its own 20 or worse most of this half and most of the second quarter. And now I don't know what you tell Kyle Wright. It's really not been his fault. But we welcome in Rich Rodriguez, head coach of the Mountaineers of West Virginia, playing on Monday night. We had Coach Recht in here and Sugar Bowl on Monday. Coach, how's your stay been in Atlanta?
It's been great. The people here in the city have been so gracious to us. The Sugar Bowl people have been outstanding, and it's been a good experience so far.
You know, there's a lot of folks out here with purple and gold and green and orange. I think you only got 15,000 tickets.
Right.
You'd have brought the whole city.
We could have filled this place up. The whole state would have been in here if they let us.
First down play for Wright. He throws it in the dirt. Incomplete. And they haven't been able to get it to Olsen, the tight end, and they still have it. Surprised by what's going on in this game?
Yeah, I really am. You know, obviously both teams have great athletes. And I heard Mark mention earlier the momentum got on LSU early, and they just kept riding it and riding it. And obviously they're a very talented team. What makes me nervous is Georgia beat these guys pretty good a few weeks ago.
And he just said to us when we were off the air, he says, I know Rich is going to turn it loose on us with that spread offense on Monday night, and that's been working for you.
Well, it has, and we've been very fortunate. Our young guys have played really well for us, better than probably anybody expected, including us, and they're going to have to do that again here Monday night.
A second down here for the Canes. They'll toss it, trying to get it wide, and Hester gets what he can. They've done a lot of that with Devin Hester tonight. Bob and I talked about when you try to showcase a player and say, you know what, you're going to be our Reggie Bush in this game and all next year. And I think sometimes you get away from what you do well, and that might be part of Miami's problem tonight.
Well, and I think a lot of times happens in bowl games as well. You may almost try to do too much instead of doing what you do well throughout the season. I think there's a tendency, not that Miami's trying to do that, but nonetheless, we've had to really make sure that we guard ourselves about adding too many plays, especially with a young team.
Well, you got 2 young guys in the backfield that are certainly exciting. If the folks haven't had a chance to watch you play, we had you the first game of the season, and you have definitely matriculated from that time to what your offense is now.
Well, you'd expect a young team to get better as you go, and I think our guys have.
And whistles, penalty markers on the play.
I don't think that people realize. I know they know you come from the Big East, that you've won or shared a piece of the title each of the last 3 years.
Well, we've been fortunate. We've had some pretty good teams the last couple of years, and we've been this close to getting the BCS, but we haven't finished the job.
Right.
And this year probably wasn't expected, but our guys set that as a goal. We need to finish the deal this year, and they followed through.
And 3 years ago, that was when Virginia Tech was still in the league, Miami was still in the league.
And, you know, we had some great rivalries. Obviously, with Virginia Tech being local, and we had some great games with Miami. And it was a shame they left, but we've moved on. Our league has moved on, and we're pretty excited about the future.
Swanee's got a question for you, Coach, after this 3rd and 10 for Miami, as they hope to avoid another 3rd and out, 3 and out, which has been the story of this half. Wright's in trouble, and there comes the defensive line again of LSU. It's been strong all season. That's Claude Roten, one of the 2 big guys on the inside we talked about all year. Swanee, go ahead.
Well, Coach, we saw you against Syracuse. You've got a very young football team. At what point in this season did this team seem to come together for you and start to show you that they could be a team that could be a champion?
Well, you know, now a lot of people have pointed to our Louisville game. We were down by 17 and won in triple overtime, but I thought it happened on the road at Maryland. A very good Maryland team, a team that we've battled with the last couple of years, and it was a very tight ball game in the 4th quarter. We took a long drive, about 80 yards, to seal the game at the end. It was all young players, first-time stars that did the deal for us.
As Miami has to punt again. Skylar Green waiting on it, calls for the fair catch and takes it at the 31. Rich, go have fun the rest of the ball game.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Good luck. We'll see you Monday night, Coach.
See you Monday night.
Right. Rich Rodriguez, head coach of West Virginia. They play Georgia in the Nokia Sugar Bowl Monday night on ABC. Right here in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. All LSU, 34-3. Welcome back to the Georgia Dome of the 2005 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. With Bob Greasy and Lynn Swan, I'm Brad Nessler and our ESPN crew. As LSU's dominating the Miami Hurricanes like I don't think I've seen them dominated in a long time. And we've done a lot of Canes games.
That's a good point.
They're getting pushed around.
I cannot remember the Canes late in the year.
Mask number 19 on the defense. The penalty will be added to the end of the run.
And another face mask penalty, the second in as many series against Miami. So that's some of that's frustration from the fact that it seems like the defense has been out there the entire game too. Because the offense has had 5 3-and-outs tonight.
Look at this.
Wow.
They normally only give up 11.9 points. They've given up 34 points tonight in 3 quarters.
We got a lot of football left.
Yards, passing yards, rushing yards, the whole works.
Hester, 18, stays in there at the single back spot. He gets the call. And a nice stiff arm and a good run around the left side. And then he just bowls over Brandon Merriweather. Wow, nice run. 20 yards.
This kid is just a true sophomore. And with all those speed guys that LSU has, he found a spot over at fullback. Watch the offensive line. That's Livings, number 71, doing a nice job. Breaks a tackle and runs over Merriweather.
He packs a good wallop. He's a 232-pounder out of Shreveport.
He's a tough kid. You can always use those tough kids that can block and catch the football.
And he's got 52 yards on 8 carries. And caught a pass on the last drive as well. Getting some work. He maybe didn't expect this much work tonight, but I know he's happy getting it. Puts his head down and again gets forward progress out for about 3 yards. Reminder to tune in to the Rose Bowl game on Wednesday, January 4th to find out the Pontiac game-changing performance of the year. You can vote now at ESPN.com. Search Pontiac. The winning school will receive a $100,000 contribution toward their general scholarship fund from Pontiac.
If they had a game-changing performance by Pontiac for the bowl game, my vote right now would be Matt Flynn.
If it wasn't Flynn, it'd be Joseph Adai. I agree with you. They've both been sensational on offense.
Well, you know, there have been some big surprises in some of the bowl games already played, but this has got to be one of them.
This is one of the feel-good stories, as Swanee said, the kid you're looking at right there, number 15. And now it's Carey getting a carry.
Well, it's going to provide some interesting practices in spring ball.
No kidding.
If Jamarcus Russell can get back from the shoulder and wrist injury, I understand the wrist injury might be a little bit more serious than first thought. And I don't know if he's going to be able to participate in spring practice, but certainly with Matt Flynn's performance here tonight and the young rookie that's freshman that's being redshirted, Perilou, there'll be a bunch of competition in spring practice.
Skylar Green's in at the shotgun quarterback position. he goes on a quarterback draw. He got tattooed.
He just took a little too long.
Yeah.
He didn't, he was already 5 yards deep, and then he backed up about 3 or 4 more.
Trying to sell that pass that wasn't going to come.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Eric Moncour got him for a loss.
Green was a high school quarterback that could do it all, and at LSU, he's been mostly a running back and wide receiver.
Chris Jackson missed his first field goal, hasn't missed one since. This will be a 46-yard attempt. He's hit from 47 tonight. Flynn to hold, and he's going to keep it and pitch it. Jackson on the corner. First down, LSU. When it's going right, it's really going right. Pretty good looking run by a punter place kicker.
Well, let me tell you, that punter place kicker was a high school quarterback, and his team won the state championship while he led the helm, and I actually believe he would be the third quarterback should something have happened to Matt Flynn. You go Skylar Green, and then Chris right here would have taken over.
And you go, well, maybe he's not that great an athlete as a punter place kicker. He's the starting third baseman on the SEC baseball team. So that's nothing new running that well to him.
It seems to me like LSU has quite a few athletes on this ball club.
I'd say you're right. Here comes another one. Hester again. LSU, if they keep playing like this and Hester keeps getting carries, they might have 200-yard rushers against a Miami defense that never lets that happen.
Well, I think the Miami defense that's on that field now is not the Miami defense that we're used to seeing. I think.
Not to mention, it's a very tired one at the end of the third quarter.
And they're kind of their minds are somewhere else. Let's put it that way.
LSU has 251 rushing yards, and they have a commanding lead at the end of 3 here at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Looks like it's going to be an 11-win season for LSU again. And the third quarter, look at the domination of LSU. Miami with 1 yard, nothing but 3 and outs. A tired defense that's seen LSU rumble for over 250 yards on the ground alone.
Did you say nothing but 3 and outs?
Yep.
And LSU has scored every time. Talk about teams that have come out and wanted to play the second half and have come out and just taken it to them. And then the other team, I've never seen the Miami Hurricanes play this poorly in all the years we've been doing it.
Not at this scale, anyway. And a big bowl game. Adai's back in there now, tailback. Flynn got some late pressure, floated one out there. Hester almost made a diving catch in the corner. Rocky McIntosh came with some heat. So Adai, apparently they got some fluid in him, and he's back on the field.
This LSU team loses 6 starters off of their offense. 3 of them are offensive linemen, but the key is they've got all 3 of their quarterbacks back. Their top quarterbacks, Russell, Flynn, and Pearl.
That might be one too many.
Well, that's true. Plenty. And they have their wide receivers back. Adai is a senior, but Vincent and Broussard will both be back. And they've got the recruiting has gone very well over there since Nick Saban left, and it's continued.
Coach Miles' team takes a timeout, leading 34-31 here in the fourth quarter of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. The Bowl Challenge Cup is presented by Cooper Tires. This trophy is going to go to the conference with the highest winning percentage in the bowls. The ACC off to a 3-1 start. Georgia Tech being its loser. Looks like it might be 3-2 by the end of the night. This is the first of 6 SEC bowls. So we'll see who wins the Bowl Challenge Cup presented by Cooper Tires. Big Ten's not doing so well either. They're over right now. And they've got, what, 3 chances left?
I believe so.
4 chances left. Wisconsin, Ohio State, Penn State, and I'm missing somebody. Third down and 7. Flynn throws a little slip screen pass on the inside. It's going to be well short of a first down, but LSU's got an opportunity to kick and add more points to it with a 34-3 lead. 14:40 remaining here. And out trots Colt David this time. Chris Jackson's leg is about ready to fall off. Actually, Colt David is their short field goal specialist, if you will. A walk-on. 3 out of 4 on the season on his field goal attempts, and he gets a crack at it from 30 yards in the right hash. Last time they faked it to keep this drive alive. Illegal substitution on the offense.
In a timely manner. That's a 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Make your substitutions in a timely manner. It's about the only thing that's going wrong for LSU tonight.
There goes Les. He's getting a little animated.
There
I like
you go.
That. Yeah.
He gets fired up when he's up 31.
He's an old offensive lineman. Now he's getting on. See, he's getting on another offensive lineman.
Yeah, and McGill's going, I got it, Coach. I got it. I got it. Wasn't timely enough for McGill. Now we'll try it again. 35-yard attempts. Again, Flynn to hold. The kick out of the way, and this one's good, too.
Everything's working tonight.
Everything's working. 37-3, LSU in front. Time for a 30-30 update with Reese. All right, Reese, thank you. And that means that Nokia Sugar Bowl will return to New Orleans next year as well. And, of course, with everything that's happened with the Hurricanes on the helmets of LSU this year since Hurricane Katrina and Rita, they have not only had the fleur-de-lis, which kind of always represents New Orleans folks and the folks in Louisiana, but that 3 states where the Hurricanes hit, little patch down there as well, as they kind of honor all the folks that have gone through so much turmoil and such a disruptive season for Tulane and LSU and Southern Miss and all the schools that had to go through what they went through. And the way that Les Miles in his first year, he was telling Bob and Lynn and I the other day, I mean, really, when you talk to him a long time about it, and you don't talk X's and O's, just what these kids had to go through. He said basically before and after every practice, we had to kind of take a look at things, who it was affecting on the team, what family members it was affecting, and then try to practice and then pull the team back together.
He said we never put it behind us. It was an ongoing thing. Could not put it behind us. He says it was a season goal. Right. The season goal had to be the players, and it was the players that came up with it.
Yep.
And the players decided we're going to play for the people of Louisiana.
He said I couldn't do it anyway. He said it would have sounded phony. The players would have known it. I felt it and I thought it, but I couldn't say it had to be their decision.
Yeah.
And he said they got together as a team with the senior leadership and said we're gonna put a 10 or 11 win season, maybe get to a national championship for the folks in our part of the country. And while they won't win a national championship, they're on their way to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl title.
And that was probably the first best decision that he made when he arrived at Baton Rouge, because here he is coming from Oklahoma State.
Right.
Now you come down and everybody says, hey, Nick Saban's gone. We gave you a good football team. You take this over and go. And then Katrina comes through and everything changes. The population of Baton Rouge doubles in overnight. And all these people from New Orleans are coming up to Baton Rouge. Players are giving their beds up for people.
And their apartments.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people in their apartments. And he says, and Les says, all right, the night before the game or 2 nights before the game,
try to get some sleep.
Get your bed back.
Well, one of the things, Bob, you talked about a little bit. You said most football teams and coaches, when something bad happens, you put it behind you right away. You forget about it and you move on. These guys couldn't do it. There were players on the LSU team that didn't know where their family members were for more than a week. And the whole team came together as a family behind each other to make sure they stayed together and stayed strong. And you talk about a lot of guys sleeping in the same room, families. Skylar Green, number 5, between he and his girlfriend, he had as many as 20 relatives living with him in his apartment during the course of all this transition. And Jamarius Russell, he even had the legendary Fats Domino staying with him for a couple of days.
Yep.
So everybody turned out and did what they could. It was something you could not put behind you. And I would dare to say that Les Miles and his personalities and his beliefs put him as the right man in the right place at the right time for this football team.
Yeah, good points, Ronnie. Well said. I asked him yesterday, biggest challenge in your coaching career? I don't think there's any doubt about that. Skylar Green, who Swanee just talked about, takes it from the 31, and Skylar Green across midfield and down to the 47-yard line. He almost broke it. 23-yard return of a 41-yard punt. Les Miles, it's not easy to win 10 in your first season, especially in this conference, and there's the other guys that have done it, including our cohort at ABC and ESPN, Coach Bowden at Auburn.
Yep.
Mike Archer at LSU. And now Les with 10, and it's soon to be 11. And, you know, they started the season on the road at Arizona State in a transplanted home game, won that. And then the Tennessee game, it looked like they had it in hand, and they lost just a heartbreaker in overtime. They went on to win 2 other overtime games. In fact, they won 5 games by 4 points or less. And out tonight to put a capper on the season after losing to Georgia in the SEC championship, when after 11 straight weeks of playing they admitted that they were dog tired. They got beaten by the Dogs, and now they're taking it out on the Hurricanes. We asked the LSU folks what they thought that their play of the year was, and their choice was at Arizona State. Jamarcus with a 39-yard touchdown to early Doucette with 1:13 to go, and the game played at Arizona State due to Katrina. They won it 35-31. So they think that the biggest play of their year was the very first one after all the trouble with the Hurricanes and games that were delayed, including the Tennessee game that got moved to a Monday night. So that was their play that they thought kind of started their season. And I know some of the folks at LSU, after having Coach Saban there, when they lost to Tennessee, they're like, whoa, wait a minute, who's this guy we hired?
Yep.
Well, the guy you hired has only lost 1 game since then.
Yep.
So,
and that was the first time back in Baton Rouge after the Hurricane.
Right.
I mean, the feeling I watched that game. I mean, there was so much emotion in that stadium. I mean, the LSU players came out, they were sky high, and Tennessee was they didn't know what to expect. Every team that played in Baton Rouge this year at a home game, except Florida, flew in the day of the game.
Yep.
So it was kind of a Star Wars type of thing, where this is something we've never done. We've never played the same day we fly in, and we've never played in an area that's been ravaged by a hurricane.
you saw Williams and Pittman one side of the defensive front for LSU heading to the locker room. I would assume it's the same story that maybe a Dye had. Need fluid quickly. 12 minutes and change remaining as Flynn gives it off to a Dye. He gets to the 40-yard line. And right now, LSU just like to get a time-consuming drive going here, make sure nobody gets hurt, and get out of town. They were determined to not have the kind of performance they had back on the first Saturday of December here against Georgia. They said that wasn't what we wanted to do in that game, and we don't want that to happen tonight. And boy, they have not let it happen from the opening kickoff. Miami took a 3-0 lead. LSU has scored 37 unanswered. 2nd down and 4. And company, and a loss of about 3. Reminder, on Saturday, ESPN2 has a couple of bowl games for you. 11 o'clock Eastern. South Florida will make his first ever bowl game appearance. He'll take on the NC State Wolfpack in the Meineke Car Care Bowl, followed by TCU and Iowa State getting together in the EV1.net Houston Bowl. Meineke Car Care Bowl and the EV1.net Houston Bowl, part of Capital Bowl Week on ESPN2. Both games available in high definition on ESPN2 HD. The Revelers from Baton Rouge and all over Louisiana here in Atlanta. And, of course, the Sugar Bowl would be down there had it not been for the Hurricanes. Next year it'll be back there, we hope, but Atlanta's proud to have it on Monday night on ABC Sports. 10:39 remaining. Long night for the Canes. some talk about whether the LSU fans would come back to Atlanta twice in a month. I think the ones that came back are pretty happy. They lead 37-3, and a 3rd down and 6 upcoming. Matt Flynn, his first start has been sensational. Getting some pressure here. He's going to run with it. He's got a big opening inside the 30. Slides down at the 21. Great mobility, good speed, as Bob said earlier, and he goes for 21 yards.
You know, as advertised, this kid has not done anything to surprise us to the negative side. They told us he was a hotshot high school prospect coming out. He's been there 3 years. He knows the system, and he's had an opportunity to play, and he has done. The biggest thing he's done is he has not made negative plays.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's physically or as far as the smart things he's done tonight. He's been pretty impressive in both categories.
I mean, LSU is -10 in the turnover margin. That's 106th in the nation. And they have not turned it over tonight.
Hester again on the carry, got 3 as we work our way under the 10-minute mark. Hester's had quite a second half. After Adai did most of the work in the first half, Hester with 61 yards, all in the second half.
There's a man that's got to be wondering about a bunch of stuff right now.
He's not used to losing, especially.
Well, he's not. You know, he won his first 24 ball games. He won a national championship, and he lost the second one in a national championship game. That was his first loss to Ohio State.
End around, Skylar Green, first down, he lost the ball. Merriweather stripped it. And Miami can't even find a handle on that.
It's still LSU's ball. Miami did not have possession.
They had 3 chances to scoop it up, and they couldn't get it.
Larry Coker is the keeper of the keys for the Miami program. As we take another look. Yeah, that was
Merriweather almost took it out of his hands.
Jennings that knocked it loose.
I thought it was Merriweather.
Well,
one of the two.
Miami never had possession of it.
There's Merriweather flying through there. And then Jennings, the one that tried to scoop it and run with it and couldn't. And then Ponder had a shot, and LSU ended up with the football anyway. Had a good thing going, Skylar did. He was thinking end zone.
Yeah.
Just didn't take the ball with it.
But Larry Coker knows that he is just in charge of the ship right now. I mean, it's been Butch Davis had it for a while. Dennis Erickson had it for 6 years and won 2 championships. Jimmy Johnson had it for 5 years and won a championship. And Howard Snellenberger really got it turned around. He was in charge for 5 years and won a national championship.
He almost had his head taken off by Brian Pata. Loss of 10.
So Larry Coker knows that, you know, he's in charge of this now. They've always had good players. Players want to come to the University of Miami.
This for Miami is not the way they wanted their season to come to a close, because as we talked about 3 hours ago, I asked both coaches yesterday, is this the end of your season or the beginning of next season? And Les Miles right away said both, because a lot of people think that these two teams could be in the national championship picture next year in the preseason rankings. Another 50-yard field goal attempt. Jackson missed his other 50-yard attempt. He didn't miss this one. Got it. Boy. He's missed one and he's been perfect since, including a couple from long range.
I think this big win against the Hurricanes doesn't solidify Les Miles at LSU.
And not only about that, but kind of what I was talking about for next year. Coaches and teams aren't stupid now. They know that if you leave an impression in the minds of the preseason voters that you pounded somebody in your bowl game, LSU's going to be up high on the list to start with next year. And sometimes, as you said, USC and Texas start 1-2, they stay 1-2.
That's right. That's exactly right. It's a good point. Especially knocking off Miami.
Right. LSU scored on 8 straight possessions now. The Fiesta Bowl against Arizona was the largest previous bowl defeats. And unless something good goes for the Canes in the next 8-20, you can erase that one and put that new one in the record book.
You know, Larry Coker is a nice guy, and he doesn't like to make changes, but the offense is too good. I mean, to not score many points. The offense is too good not to score more than 10 points against Georgia Tech a couple of weeks ago. They've lost 2 of their last 3 games. He brought in Pete Garcia, who was with Butch Davis at Miami, and then he was at Cleveland.
Hester can't field that one either. This is a surprise that we're seeing tonight. Bob's Bowl surprises so far.
Georgia Tech losing the way they lost at Utah. They were a big favorite. Navy scoring 51 points. Nebraska, Michigan losing. That's 5 losses this year in 12 games for Michigan. And what a way to lose is right.
Oregon made a lot of noise about thinking they belonged to the BCS, and Oklahoma took care of that business.
Yeah.
And now LSU shellacking Miami here in the late stages of the ball game in Atlanta. Look out. That kind of night for Kyle Wright and company.
This has got to be embarrassing for the University of Miami.
Another look at Bob's Bowl surprises. Missouri. Boy, Brad Smith had a good game today, didn't he?
Yeah, Steve Spurrier in South Carolina were winning very comfortably until the end, and the Miami Hurricanes never even showed up tonight.
That's the biggest surprise. They have 13 plays in the second half. They have 0 yards. That's not good.
Second half, nothing.
Trying to get something going at Quadrant Hill. Quadrant's really about the only guy that's gotten any offense going tonight, and the only guy that can catch the ball, it seems. LSU dominating defensively. We told you their defensive line, one of the best in the business. And they've swarmed Charlie Jones under. They have pressured Kyle Wright. They've knocked down his passes. And all night long, they've made it a headache for him to try to find a receiver. And when he has thrown it, the receivers haven't been too good. Has Greg Olson caught a ball? The tight end, who's basically an all-American type tight end. No catches tonight.
No catches.
How about a big shout-out to Bo Pelini for the job he's done for LSU as a defensive coordinator. New system, new terminology, great use of the talent he has.
Maybe even better results.
Well, the first 2 games, Louisiana State gave up 31 points and 30 points. And then after that, nobody scored more than 17, and they only got in double figures twice. And going through the SEC, that's pretty good feat.
You may have seen Bo with a little bit of a smile on his face. That's about as big a grin you're going to ever get out of that guy. He's having fun when you're playing this well. They've done a great job. Miami's deepest penetration to this half has been their own 29-yard line. They haven't even gotten across midfield.
Ball's gone.
Monroe, the kick. Late fair catch call by Skylar Green, but he got it called in time. LSU with the ball. An insurmountable lead and 6 minutes to play at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl when we come back. Tis the season to be jolly for family and friends. Some that spend time away from home during the holidays take in a football game. That's what I like about our producer, Bruce Clark. He takes his family to the greatest places like football games. I think they're going to the Falcons game tomorrow, which we had hoped in Atlanta was going to mean something. It means a lot for the Carolina Panthers tomorrow. They will break down this field.
Sunday.
Excuse me, Sunday. They'll break down this field tonight. They will redo all the hash marks. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of gallons of paint they have to use in this building because the Falcons
get the paint up.
Yeah, the Falcons play the Carolina Panthers in here on Sunday, and then we turn the field right back around and move the hash marks again. And get the Falcons logos out of the end zone. We put in West Virginia and Georgia for the Sugar Bowl on ABC on Monday night. So 3 major football games in about a 3.5-day period. And the folks in Atlanta are up to the task, and they have a lot of work to do. And they've already done a lot of work getting ready for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and now the Sugar Bowl around the corner on ABC Monday night, and the Falcons on Sunday.
Well, look closely, LSU fans. Skylar Green is about to play his last game. Be moving on to the NFL, and
he'll be a good weapon there too.
Like I said, they lose 6 starters, 3 in the offensive line. Defensively, they also lose 6 starters, so they'll have a good nucleus coming back, but they need to replace some real leaders on that defensive side, especially Kyle Williams and Roten.
If they can do that, I think they're going to be in the hunt. They're an awful good football team. Flynn, flush, gets rid of it. Actually had a receiver in the general vicinity, but he was just trying to get rid of the football. Sports Center's following our game. Neil Everett, Stan Barrett will talk about the Gamecocks. The ball coach had a big lead and let it slip away, as Bob mentioned earlier. USC getting ready for Texas, the championship edge that they get to stay home on their own field, their own beds, and all the normal practice facilities they're used to. And Kobe Bryant suspended for a couple of games for that elbow you saw him throw at Mike Miller. Kobe says he'll appeal. I don't know what he's appealing. Looked like he tried to take Miller's head off for me, but
yeah, well, he had gotten hit before that, and he took names and numbers and he got him back. It didn't take him long.
Always get the second guy. Devin Hester behind him. That's at about the 18-yard line. He's awaiting the punt. It's been a long time since Chris Jackson had to punt. And they're still not going to punt. Fake punt again, end around. And he didn't get the first down.
You know, you can look at this 2 different ways. You can look at it one way as it's the last game of the year. LSU is just throwing out all their gimmicks and tricks. And the other way you can look at it is that LSU is rubbing it in on the University of Miami.
Stelz on the run.
Trying to score, take the long field goal.
There's a little bit of a smile on Coach Miles' face. I certainly know that it's nothing that he would have against Larry Coker, because they're friends and they're friendly to be around together, so that has nothing to do with anything. And there really is no series to speak of. This is the 12th game in the series. It dates back to 1946, but
they haven't played
in a long time.
I think since 1988.
Yeah, 1988 was the last time. Their last win over the Canes was in 1969. The last time they beat Miami, 1969. Kirby Freeman's in at quarterback. Durant Thomas in the backfield with James Bryant, as Miami's going to let some guys get some time here. The final 4 minutes. Kirby's seen time this year. In fact, he played in 8 of the 11 Miami games. Kyle Wright got injured in the Virginia Tech game. Kirby Freeman comes in with a couple of touchdown passes, 1 interception. And obviously a spot where he knows he can't win a ball game, but he can get some time in a bowl game. Devin Hester on the toss. And while this was fun to watch early and it seemed to work, it's not working anymore.
Yeah.
Flag on the play. And after we check the penalty from John Bible.
Offside defense, number 96. 5-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
So second down again. Miami finally in LSU's end of the field. Haven't been the whole half. Let's check Bob's Who's Hot list. Season edition, excuse me, not just this week.
Yeah, well, you know, Texas and USC, they were hot all year. Penn State had a great year. Joe Paterno. Boston, Central Florida. How about Central Florida?
George O'Leary.
Georgia, Auburn, UCLA had a great year. Alabama with Mike Shula. Lost too late in the year, but he had a great year. In Oklahoma, they won 5 of their last 6 or something like that.
Hester goes down. Nice open field tackle by Beckwith. Who's not hot then?
Well, this is never fun.
No, I know it's not.
Colorado didn't do well. Tennessee, A&M was supposed to do well. Pittsburgh. Iowa. How did Iowa get on that who's not list? Michigan lost 5 out of 12. Purdue, my alma mater's on there.
Yeah.
Michigan State, Washington, Colorado State. Somebody snuck Iowa on there. I don't think I would have put Indiana before I put Iowa.
Pass lofted and picked off by Zeman. And he comes back to the 33-yard line. Kirby Freeman tried to aim one and kind of loft it.
First turnover.
The first turnover of the game. That's unbelievable. There's the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl trophy. And this one's going to go to the SEC in about 3 minutes. As LSU get to take that back to Baton Rouge. And to the folks of Louisiana, who they played their season for. Boy, it's fun when you win in a
winners and losers.
Yep, big game like this. And a guy that comes in and has the storybook ending to his season when I'm sure he didn't think he'd be playing against Miami. If Jamarcus Russell had not been injured, we might not have seen, we would have seen Matt Flynn either way if they were playing this well, but boy.
Well, again, it brings up a lot of talk after the football season, and I'm sure around Louisiana and all around down there, they're going to be talking about Matt Flynn. But Jamarcus Russell is an outstanding football player.
Yep.
A strong arm player, makes big plays, smart, intelligent. He just can't move around and do the things that Matt Flynn can do with his feet. And Matt Flynn, at least tonight, has been a lot more consistent. Jamarcus just needs to be a little bit more consistent, and that usually comes with age.
Nice get well card to Jamarcus. We send our wishes to on a speedy recovery of a couple of injuries. Hester, boy, tough run, close to a first down. Here's tonight's Capital One player of the game. I give you 2 guesses. You don't even need the first one, I don't think. Matt Flynn, first start at quarterback. So efficient. There were 2 touchdown passes, one a 51-yard bomb, a strike to Davis, the other one to Adai. And Joseph Adai, I'm going to give him part of that player of the game because he had one of his best games of the season, too, and we struggled back and forth between the 2 guys. Adai had 130 yards on the ground and a touchdown reception.
It's not so much what Matt Flynn did, and he did a lot, but it's what he didn't do, and that is turning the ball over, making silly mistakes. He just kept him. He managed the game like you didn't miss anybody. I mean, he just
cool under pressure.
Just like he belonged. He was cool under pressure is right.
Sports Center follows us in about a minute and a half. With a minute 26 remaining in the ball game.
Hey, Bob and Brad.
Yes, Wally.
You know, we always talk about the players and the coaches. I'm going to give a shout out to Bo Pelini's wife. Okay? Mary Pat. The reason why, when we talk to Bo Pelini, keep in mind, 2002, he was with the Green Bay Packers. 2003, he left the Packers, went to Nebraska, said he was going to college football, wanted to go to a stable program, went to Nebraska, was there for 1 year.
Right.
2004, as they get the Gatorade ready for Les Miles from behind, he goes to Oklahoma. And then 2005, he ends up in LSU. So I want to give a shout out to Mary Pat, who's somewhere here watching the ball game, for her support. And I know Bo Pelini appreciates it a great deal because he's traveled her across the country as a coach's wife.
Yeah, that's a tough job. And he's down there on that sideline with Coach Miles, who just got the bath that you all love to get. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get the sticky off. You got to take a couple more showers when it's over, but he'll take that any old day of the week because he's going to have an 11-win season in his first year in the Southeastern Conference. Miami and the defense of Bo Pelini that Swanee was just talking about held LSU held Miami without a first down for the final 40 minutes of the ballgame.
LSU has come a long way. Remember the sights and the sounds we saw.
There's Bo.
Early in the season.
Yep. And so
to this.
As I mentioned earlier, they started their season with a hurricane, and they end their season against the Hurricanes. And they really took care of business in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl tonight. Matt Flynn holds it aloft. He'll keep that ball, I bet, if they let him, because he's our Capital One player of the game and leads his team in his first start, and Coach Miles in his first year at LSU to a 40-3 win. Quite a performance by the Tigers, and that'll be a pretty popular guy tonight and for maybe months to come on the LSU campus. Swally is down on the field getting situated, and I think he's just about ready to join us with Coach Miles. Lynn?
Well, Coach, we talked at the beginning of the ball game, and I said, I always talk to the winning coach after the ball game, and you said what?
I said, let's plan on meeting after the game.
Coach, this has to be a remarkable win for you. Everything this team has been through, and then you bring in a quarterback who has never started, and he plays this ball game. What's gone through your mind during the course of this game?
It's typical of our football team. They understand what they need to do to win. The veterans, the leadership says, the offensive line said, listen, we're going to make it easy on our quarterback today. Played really well. He has a calm and a natural leadership ability, and it just allowed him to play. Our defense came to play to take away their offense, and it was a team victory.
Was that the most remarkable thing about this game, the fact that the team took the pressure off the quarterback and made Matt feel like he didn't have to win it by himself?
Like I said, the hurdles and the obstacles that this team has overcome, the 05 team would, in my opinion, go down as a very special LSU team. This game was typical of their performance.
This game was typical of their performance, but you had to believe it was going to be a tighter ball game. What made the difference in this game?
Well, I just, again, I think the offensive line took control. When we could rush the football, give time to our quarterback can throw, our receivers can catch. And then when the defense comes on the field and really takes away their offense, I mean, it was just a matter of time.
Coach, this is a great win, but I truly believe you were the right man at the right time.